Charge your phone. We got why won't you wake
How did we go from bathtub to Battlegrounds?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, zero stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
Red Bull gives you wings. क्या इस सीजन खत्म होगा सेंसे का ट्रॉफी कस? जॉनथन भी है तैयार. वीक 2 में गॉडलाइक करेगी प्रहार. क्या जेनेसिस ई स्पोर्ट्स की हंटिंग वीक 2 में भी रहेगी बरकरार? इस बैटलग्राउंड के जंगल में एप्स करेंगे सबसे ज्यादा शोर. Watch BGMS Season 4 live on Jio Hotstar, Star Sports and Nodwin Gaming's YouTube channel daily from 5 p.m. onwards.
It's the day 3 of the week 2 in the BGMS Season 4, and I'm going to be your host, Caster. Once again, John alongside with me on the panel is Scared Yet. And Scared, recently we're seeing a few known names once again starting to pull up their socks. I'm speaking of 8-Bit and even Global Esports. We're seeing them pull up quite a massive performance recently, especially.
I'll have to say, we were talking about the consistency and how it was missing from 8-Bit along with the performance of Aquanox. My goodness, the way he's pulled himself up. We all saw him yesterday on the camera having some fun, glorious moment out there. Just lying down there on his own chair, having fun, and then in the very next game, bro decided to pull off such a miraculous move as well for his team. I think so if that continues, 8-Bit can eventually propel up to the top 4 itself, which we were really thinking might not be possible after week 1.
I mean, we're seeing incredible consistency from the side of 8-Bit, and for some reason, it's something about the Game 1 and Global Esports. For the past 2 days, it's like the moment Global Esports is playing the Game 1 itself, they're the one to steal that chicken dinner away, and that's what's been going on.
I mean, at this point, it feels like, yes, Global Esports themselves, they've kind of found their own groove as well, how to play around in this entire BGMS Season 4 segment, right? Because earlier on, Manya pulling his own way, it was a little bit difficult for him to try and give the cause to the team, even though there were certain performances from Spray God. But now, with every single game going on, it's not just one game and then fizzling out. It's every other game where they're propelling themselves at least in the top 8. So I think that's a pretty solid thing.
The good thing is that at least we're seeing those constant 8 to 9 points per game.
Yeah.
And you know what? Since we've been speaking so much about what happened yesterday, yes, there were a few mishaps as well, just like Jatin not claiming the bounty from Phoenix Esports. But overall, the game was started with quite a massive bang. Phoenix Esports definitely had a chance to go for that bounty claim, but Jatin messed up big time and got eliminated by the play zone itself. And this is the moment that I'm speaking of. But Trey Scott, this 2-piece that the man was able to claim, it was absolutely insane. A quick flick on the second guy, and Phoenix Esports was absolutely discombobulated.
He has one of the highest impacts out in the entire power play itself, and also for the lineup of Revenant X-Park, so he has been standing up pretty strong. But as things moved on forward, it seemed like this could very well be an Apes game, but guess what? It was Global Esports to steal it all away for Game 1.
Exactly, but Marcos Gaming got a little bit too greedy in the final few moments of that previous game. But as we moved on towards Miramar, NINZA, they locked horn against the players of Seoul. And Seoul, as usual, once again reigning supreme in that fight and absolutely dismantling the players of NINZA. Later on in the final few moments, we had Marcos Gaming once again mess things up pretty badly, as it was Genesis Esports with the positional advantage claim that chicken dinner.
Phenomenal utility usage coming in from the side of Genesis was the main reason for them to claim that entirety off. But then things kicked off against Likitha Esports, taking on the members of VS as well, as 4TR joined in all of that action too. But eventually it all fizzled out because it was again a Genesis game.
Genesis Esports with a solid hold in the final few moments. And as we know, it's the map of Sanhok. It's quite zone-oriented, and Genesis Esports took the exact advantage and claimed that solid chicken dinner. But the final game as well started with quite a bit of those sparks. K9 Esports once again taking quite the aggressive fight against the players of Los Hermanos. Initially it was quite back and forth, but later on K9 Esports, they were able to close their grips.
One of the first few times where we actually saw something like that happen, but everything was stolen away when Erangel brought his team up so far close, destroying the teams of 8-bit, but it was eventually hers to win the chicken dinner for his team.
True Rippers once again showing why they're one of the best teams out there in this circuit and claiming another chicken dinner on the board. As we have a look at the overall standings, yes, the top 8, not really a lot of fluctuations there. We're still seeing OG on the 4th spot, Revenant X-Park on the 3rd, Hero Extreme Godlike on the 2nd, but Genesis Esports on the 1st with a remarkable lead.
I mean, it's somewhere around 43-point lead for themselves, and one of the big reason is that this team is constantly getting at least 30 to 35 points every single day. Over 70 points is something that they grabbed in the previous 2 days of week number 2. So that's a phenomenal jump. Los Hermanos as well. We used to see this team somewhere lurking in the top 8 right now because of a few bad games. They've been dropped down out here. But again, a pretty decent leap coming in from the other teams as well, including True Rippers.
Look at the crazy part about Los Hermanos. Look at the amount of finishes they've got, 89. And positioning points, just 22.
Yeah.
Not even having a single chicken dinner, and Los Hermanos is still sitting on the 9th spot in the overall standings. And that's been the main concern for Los Hermanos, right? Yes, they're taking those firefights. Yes, they're doing a fantastic job in winning those fights as well. But what about winning the game?
That's one of the big things where they always have that problem, right? Moving all the way in, finding that perfect positioning in the circle itself, that's where they're kind of finding a bit of difficulty, and that's where Manya and his boys eventually rise up, right? That's also where Distro shines the most as well, because he brings his team to positions where then the assaulters can capitalize and eventually get some of extra assaulting frags as well. That's also where Godlike propels, to be honest, and True Rippers too, considering with the way how they've been performing.
I mean, other than the mishap that happened yesterday with Phoenix Esports, still you can't say the graph is going up for them slowly and steadily. We're seeing Godin just proving himself over and over again, winning those firefights, doing pretty good.
Yeah.
But we've also got a head-to-head lined up on the screen between Hirsch and Admina from Hero Extreme Godlike. And without a doubt, this man is out fragging Hirsch.
It was only that one specific match, right? Match number 36. That's the last game yesterday. Hirsch did not really have a lot of finishes before that too, right? Before he actually met against Admino. One finish that he actually got was of the knock player of 8-bit because of the nade bombardment that came in. But this was the most important fight. Admino had the chance to put that cherry on top of the cake that he built up. But eventually Hirsch stole only that cherry away after jumping out of buggy, and look at the precise movement from the man. Left, right, had the perfect crosshair and eventually destroyed Admino.
That's the thing, right? No matter how solid of stats you've got, if you're not able to close out the game, the jokes will still be upon you. And that's what happened to Admino. Unfortunately, the man was dominating throughout the entire game, but when it came to closing the game off, That's where Hirsch took the cake and took the cherry away from the man and stole that chicken dinner. But as I mentioned, right, even at the bottom of the board now, we're seeing a few fluctuations over there too. We expected a lot more coming in from Reckoning Esports, but yesterday's day was quite shaky for Reckoning Esports. Once again, the performance is not looking good.
I mean, Reckoning has been on that struggling end for such a long time now at this point, and it's not just them, it's also TWOB, and they're having so many problems out there right now. One good thing is that for Medal Esports, though, I want to talk about them a little bit because Aimbot has been performing pretty good, but there have been certain mishaps for them as well.
Look, generally speaking, for Medal Esports, the remaining three players have been doing extremely good, right? Scout's still a little bit lacking when it comes to contributing towards the elimination points, but I'm pretty sure this man is trying to fulfill a completely different role. And as we've got the comparison as well on the screen, Scout has only managed to contribute 13 finishes, while the remaining players, they've managed to gather 73. And this is what I'm talking about, just 15% of finish contribution, which is of course not extremely bad, but still can be better.
Yeah, to be honest, if that is increased a little bit, I'm pretty sure that Medal is going to perform absolutely insane. But even now, they're doing a pretty solid job too. But since we've been constantly talking about all of that, ladies and gentlemen, I know you've got questions as well, and so does Suren, so let's send it to him.
Jeez, man, superstar wala tag. Scout of Medal with me. Scout BGMS season 4 Medal के साथ आप I guess what 2-3 महीने हुए हैं जुड़े हुए. So let me just ask you, Scout, इस टीम में आपका रोल क्या है?
So इस फिल्टर एंड सपोर्ट, तो मैं इस टीम का जो बैक एंड जो संभालना हो तो संभालता हूँ.
Scout, क्योंकि अगर कोई इस गेम को देख रहा है, आपका जो रुतबा है, आपका जो नाम है, and then they see the numbers शायद पूरी कहानी बयान नहीं करते हैं, क्योंकि टीम का फिनिश कंट्रोल कुछ 85% है और आपका खुद का कंट्रोल जो है वो 15% है.
तो टीम में जो रोल्स होते हैं उसको फुलफिल करना होता है. जो टीम का करेंटली डिमांड है उसको मैं रोल फुलफिल कर रहा हूँ. अब एक टीम में 2-2 एंट्री फैगर या 2-2 असॉल्टर्स तो नहीं हो सकते. तो बीइंग वन ऑफ द ओल्डेस्ट प्लेयर्स, मेरा काम होता है कि जो टीम का रोल है उसको फुलफिल करके कम्प्लीटली टीम को हेल्प करना. तो मैं अपना आई थिंक कम्प्लीटली अच्छी तरीके से कर रहा हूँ. एंड इसलिए हम लोग एक हाँ स्टार्ट इतनी खास नहीं हुई थी, बट हम लोग को रिदम पकड़ रहे हैं.
स्काउट, लेट्स जस्ट गो बैक इन टाइम, क्योंकि मेडल उनका एक रेपुटेशन था. रेपुटेशन, वो टीम जिसका काफी वट है, थोड़ा गुंडागर्दी टाइप उनका एक रेपुटेशन था. करो या मरो वाली टीम थी. लेकिन अब ऐसा लगने लगा है कि कब करना है और कब मरना है वो सब कुछ स्काउट डिसाइड कर रहा है.
सीन ऐसा है कि आज तक कभी भी करो या मरो वाली टीम जीती नहीं है, और इससे आप फाइट्स जीत सकते हो, वॉर नहीं जीत सकते. एंड आई थिंक ये वेनम को बहुत अच्छे से पता है. तो इसीलिए हम लोग ने चीज़ें, बहुत सारी चीज़ें चेंजेस की है. तो हम फ्लैशी प्लेस के लिए नहीं जा रहे जो हम पहले करते थे कि बस चलो जो दिखा मार लो. बट हम चाहते हैं कि एक लॉन्ग रन, लंबा रन, जहाँ टूर्नामेंट जीतने के चांसेस ज़्यादा वो खेलें.
स्काउट, इस गेम का, इस टूर्नामेंट का लेवल बढ़ गया है. अब मास्टर्स के साथ चैलेंजेस भी हैं. देयर लॉट्स ऑफ टीम्स दैट आर चैलेंजिंग फॉर द टाइटल. आई नो कि आपके लिए एक वो बकेट लिस्ट पे एक चीज़ थी कि टूर्नामेंट जीतना है. वो सपना, वो ख्वाब नज़दीक आ रहा है या दूर जाता हुआ नजर आ रहा है?
आई डोंट थिंक ये दूर जा रहा है, क्योंकि अभी तो ये क्वालिफायर्स है और इस टाइम पे सारी टीम्स अपने को नर्चर कर रही है, परफॉर्म कर रही है. तो फाइनल्स में देखते क्या होता है, क्योंकि इट्स टू अर्ली टू जज राइट नाउ. क्योंकि ऐसा भी हो सकता है यहाँ पे लीडर बोर्ड पे टॉप पे है, फाइनल्स पे आपको टॉप पे ना दिखे. बहुत बार हो चुका है चीज.
That's experience talking. 4 blockbuster matches coming your way, all being played on the OnePlus 13. इंतजार बस खत्म होने वाला है. Match 1 coming up on the other side of the break.
What's the cheat code, bro?
No code.
So, a script then, or a bot?
No script.
Alright, class, for today's lesson...
I already taught her something.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag. We have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, zero stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
Within a few moments, the first game's gonna boot up on the screen, and Scared, you know the ritual. I'm gonna ask you the prediction for the first game itself. But you know what? Before you tell me, I'm gonna give you my prediction this time.
Go for it.
And I'm gonna go with someone that's currently at the bottom of the chart. I'm gonna go with maybe TWOB. What do you think?
You know what? I think so. This is about the time for Pukar to eventually bring his boys back up as well, right? Because for the previous 2 days, TWOB has been a team that has not really been playing that very good. They've been on the biggest struggling end apart from NINZA out here right now. NINZA haven't even got 10 points overall in the previous 2 days. Only 7 out here. So I think so, yes, it's going to be a pretty big day for TWOB and NINZA since they will be playing the 4 games coming up right now. I'm pretty sure I'm actually going to go for... you know what? I'm going to go for Team MyG Los Hermanos.
No, you need to go for someone on the last page. Come on, well, it's unfair. Go with Reckoning Esports. Just do it.
Alright, go. I can see Max, I can see his smile. I'm gonna go for Reckoning.
Yeah, they seem like they're in a good mental, but hopefully this first game, it's going to be great for them. As we know, the stage one's going to be filled with a lot of power play points, but they will be up for grabs as well. And let's see if Reckoning Esports is going to go aggressive and try and claim those points. As the plane's going to be in the skies once again, starting all the way from Sanhok military base towards the opposite side, which will be Georgia Pole. And this plane fly path extremely tilted towards the left side of the map. If the teams do want to move in towards the right side, first go for the pit stop, get their hands on basic weaponry, basic loot, and then move in towards their main primary drop location.
Here's the main thing about BGMS though, which we've mostly seen, is that teams rarely follow up with their main drop location, right? By picking the vehicles or anything. They eventually decide to just change their drop location. And I think so that's also one of the way to try and play in this BGMS Season 4 meta, where rather than following up with your own drop location, you'd want to drop as close to the plane as possible, because either ways, the circle is going to take a nasty shift towards one or the other end. So you might as well just loot up the area around your part, and then you want to move forward.
Which sort of makes a lot of sense too, right? Imagine if you're someone that's quite late to take an exit from the plane fly path, and the zone's already popped up, and you know the zone is on the opposite side of your drop location, why would you go all the way towards the opposite side in the far fray? No, instead you would directly glide inside of the circle, get your loot up, and probably hold down one of the best possible spots in that zone.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot more sense, and that's what a lot of these teams have been doing as well. And since we know there's also power play active, a lot of these teams are also going for the elimination points in the first initial stage itself, and there's also the bounty system that's active as well. So if you do manage to eliminate the team or any team in the top 4, you will get additional 10 points. And why would you not want to get that?
For the past 2 days, it has been Revenant X-Park's Stray Squad who has basically utilized the power play to its fullest. Constantly getting a lot of frags out there, double digits if I'm not wrong. And again, we've been talking about the circle, right? Plane fly path, extremely tilted towards the left side. Zone pops up towards the southeast. And now if you're FS, you're already wondering if we should even drop somewhere around shooting range and move to Severny, then go to the circle. Or if we should just stay here, maybe take some early fights, maybe try and capitalize on that power play itself. You don't really have a lot of teams out here right now, and your prediction of TWOB, they're all the way on the opposite end of this entire map.
Yeah, it kind of blows, and there's a big chance FS Esports might just take them down.
Yeah.
FS Esports, if they want, they can shut down the pathway for TWOB to actually move inside of the zone. They can just camp that road. But I highly doubt that's going to be the case. Even TWOB wants good loot at the end of the day. And yeah, back towards the conversation that we're having, right? We pretty much talked about every single possible team at this point in time, but let's talk a little bit more about NINZA and their approach towards the game. That initial approach that they're having, it's clearly not finding a lot of success. NINZA is not even close towards the top 8.
Yep.
And they need to amp up that aggression a bit.
It just feels like that every single time that they go for their rotation, they are being caught by some or the other team, and they're picking the fights which they are not supposed to pick. Like even yesterday on the map of Miramar, when we actually saw them, right, over towards the edge of the blue, taking the damage of that, and it was one of the most disconnected 4v4 that we eventually saw from NINZA in a long time.
And Soul played that perfectly.
Exactly.
Had a man on split. The man just completely sandwiched the players of NINZA, and NINZA stood no chance. It was perfectly played by the players of Soul. And once again, that's where the experience really comes into play.
Yep.
NINZA, if they're not going to take those fights, how will they be trained for fights? They need to start taking them right now. There's still a lot more games, a lot more days to go. And NINZA, you can still tweak your strategies a bit before you move in towards the playoffs or the grand finals.
Contrary to what we've been seeing right now, though, not any major fights happening all the way around. It's like one of the most peaceful power play that we have seen in such a long time. It's 4.5 more minutes for the teams to try and capitalize onto that, but I don't really see any kind of fights happening. Victorious sumus all the way in a 1-3 split, which we normally see them, or rather a 2-2 split this time around. As Oasis is taking the road on the military base island to move all the way towards Milta. Not quite sure if I'm a fan of this kind of rotation though, because it is almost confirmed that the circle will move over towards up north. So why would you want to go all the way towards Milta, where you know there could be at least 2 or 3 teams camping out that bridge?
And it's kind of weird to see such a peaceful start, right?
Yeah.
Not even a single man dropping down. Extremely weird.
Peace treaties between the teams.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that. I want to see some action.
You are a chaotic man.
It's good for the teams as well if they take the advantage of the power play. Simple. And if they're losing out onto it, well, you're just delaying the task. That's it. There's only 2 teams in the lobby with the bounty on top of their head, which is Revenant, X-Park, and OG. And of course, there's going to be a lot of pressure on these teams as well in the mid phase. And if that pressure amplifies, I'm pretty sure that bounty will not be claimed by anyone because those elimination points will be scattered all across the board.
Yep.
So this is the perfect time to go and hunt them down.
You talk about hunting, and the first team that pops up in my head is going to be Soul, as they are pretty close to the members of Medal right now, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be witnessing them in the next few seconds too. Running all the way towards Mansion, and we know how adamant Soul can get whenever they are on certain chases.
Yeah, they're on the prowl. Shots are taken as well, but unfortunately for Soul, Revenant X-Park is a bit too far away from them. And they're going to let go of him. Not really adamant in taking the fight yet. So I guess OG's going to be completely fine. Soul backing away. It's all good in the hood.
I'm pretty sure that they had no idea that this was OG, otherwise they would have gone for the bounty points. They really like to hunt them. One of the big things that has happened today is that, we always call Mighty Los Hermanos as a team which likes to hunt the bounty teams. They like to play aggressive. Yesterday was the first time when I actually saw them lose a 4v4 drop clash. That was against K9.
Interesting.
And the first thing that they do the very next day is drop safe.
Look, at the end of the day, K9 Esports, yeah, I understand they're going through a massive down phase. But still, it is one of the best teams out there. Nothing taken away from that. Kana spots out the man in the far fray, and that was a great spot too. Imagine if Kana did not look in that direction, the man would have been knocked out already.
Yep.
That could have been rough luck for NoNx, but that's a great spot. And that's why Reckoning Esports, and all the intentions they had, they're now going to be down the drain. Reckoning Esports will need to rotate all the way inside of the circle to find a great spot. There are a few teams around them. Of course, one of them is NoNx. And we all know, piercing inside of the stage 2 is not going to be that difficult. You can easily move in.
Not quite sure if it's going to be so easy for the teams who are down south on the military base island, though. Because you've got True Rippers out there. God's Reign as well. God's Reign should know that there should be a bridge camp out here, because whenever True Rippers play, they always like to hold that one spot. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a clash happening out there as well in the open. Neo entirely unaware of this. It just seems like it's a lack of homework, Necro. Because True Rippers, they always hold down the bridge whenever Circle pops onto that.
Absolutely. And now that True Rippers, once again on the move towards a completely different direction. I'm not sure what the game plan's going to look like for True Rippers. Because if they try to move in from that bridge, there's Revenant X-Park camping it. Not a lot of possible gateways that they can make it out alive from that spot. But as we move on towards Team Aryan, Team Aryan taking a few shots. It's one of those teams currently in the smack center as well. And as the next zone pops up, it's going to center on up even more. Has a lot more surface area to play with. So it's going to be graceful for the teams. They can now start racking up a better compound, better loot once again. And get a good position in their hands. Mind you, Los Hermanos ramming their vehicles around that compound. And Team Aryan needs to respect that and back away.
Going to try and run away from there, just as you said. There's so many teams popping all the way around in the central part of the circle. My goodness. It's absolutely colorful. Aryan as well, they've been having some rough games out here lately. Certain moments where you think that they should win, and then teams like 8-Bit pop up in front of them.
Aryan's been playing it completely passive, just like NINZA. Not amping up the aggression. We know they've got the firepower, but still for some reason we're not seeing it oozing out.
I mean, when we wanted to see it, they picked up a sniper.
And then we know what happened.
Don't want to relive that, man.
But once again, if you guys want to watch Hero Extreme, Godlike, Genesis Esports, OG, and Revenant X-Park from their POV, you guys can head on towards the Geo Hotstar for the multicam feature. It's available right now, so go and check it out. But back towards the conversation, Revenant X-Park around that Milta vicinity, camping the bridge. And it's a massive split that Revenant X-Park has. They've got a decent bit of ground control that they can rely on. But Trey Scott all by himself towards this house. It's definitely playing with fire a bit. There's a chance Trey Scott can be pounced on. There's a lot of possible ways Trey Scott can be shut down without even his teammates realizing how they can provide the cover fire.
We have normally seen Revenant X-Park play with these kinds of splits. It has worked out in the past only because there were not enough teams playing all together in the second stage.
I'm not going to lie, Scared. This does not feel like a BGMS game at all. This feels like an actual pro circuit game where there's no bounty system, where there's no power play. There's no bonus cards. Just a raw pro circuit game.
And I think so teams have eventually decided to start things off in that fashion. Or it's probably just Group A and B shenanigans. Whenever these two groups play together, it is an unconventionally slow game. Half of it is because all the teams have got their different drop locations which no one else tries to contest. And half of it is because, again, most of the teams here like to play it slow. It is Group C that's when it adds the chaos into the solution.
Marcos Gaming, the amount of shots they're taking against the team in the front. Luckily enough, the entirety of NoNx, once again, scratch-free. Looking good and dandy. The zone's going to move down south a bit. True Rippers finding themselves in a decent bit of spot. Even Revenant X-Park, they're going to find themselves in the smack center towards Milta edges.
What are Metal doing?
And Team Aryan, what am I watching? A quick bounce on top of the players of Metal Esports. Venom and Scout OP down. The players are taken away to their death. And at this point, Team Aryan, they've got a massive advantage inside of the fight as well. And even NINZA, they're dropping down bodies. What am I watching? Henry single-handedly dismantling NINZA. 2 players dropped dead, and even Metal Esports, 2 players were knocked out. Team Aryan really wanted to take the advantage, but they knew going inside of that tunnel means it's an invitation to your own death.
They know exactly what Hunters pulled out there against the members of K9, and they do not want to make the same mistake. Considering that this time there's also a lot of other players along with. Just one of the solid lineups. But out here right now, I'm not a big fan of where middle are. They'd eventually have to get out of it. And they're not at the prime spot. Team Aryan, though, on the other hand, holding down this bit of a northern part of the circles, considering that it took a hard south shift, chances are that the next shift could be somewhere in a bit more centric or maybe a bit more northern. They are taking a gamble out here.
I think it's going to be on the left side towards farm.
Possible.
I genuinely think Victor Sumus, they're really thinking for the future. They've got a solid spot to play with. And what happened to Metal Esports? Did they lose out on Scout and the another player that was knocked out?
I mean, just one. Probably it's Scout.
Unfortunate.
No support, that means.
OG taking those shots against Phantom. Man's out in the open, TWOB. They will find a chance to reunite with each other. And OG, they're going to let the players of TWOB have their own piece. TWOB straight up breaches inside of Milta. OV, he crashes his vehicle. Luckily enough, the man's going to be quick, so he instantly escapes from the grasp. It's all good in the hood for TWOB as of now.
They're going to move all the way into those solid compounds. No one has claimed the bounty yet of any of the teams. REVENANT, Spark, OG, both of them absolutely alive with all the members. OG have also been losing their ground a bit. Not really finding the best possible foundations to build up their big game. What? Hold on. Legit should not be the man from Seoul to be knocked out right now. And it's Team Aryan again back in the action.
Seoul. We all know this team's been thirsty since the start of the game. They try to hunt down the entirety of OG, but unfortunately Seoul was not able to find the best. And now as Seoul tries to hunt down Aryan, there's also FS Esports from the back constantly taking those shots, disrupting Seoul's flow. But Goblin, the man's able to run one of the players of Team Aryan, but even Knuckle falls down. Team Aryan replying back in style as Henry and Devotee, the only two men left standing. But Seoul, they've been completely eliminated from this game. But Team Aryan does not have a lot of time either. There's going to be FS Esports on their tails as Henry falls down. FS, they've got a massive man advantage. Just one more man to go and Team Aryan will be dismantled. But that one last man, he's also putting in a lot of efforts as Devotee pushes up close and personal once again. It's also Marcos Gaming's third party that comes into picture. And FS Esports, even they're falling apart. But Marcos Gaming for now, it's a bit of a full stop to their momentum. Stone in the back lines is going to toss out a few utilities, getting a knock on to Lovish. And now FS Esports, even they're down to just one last player.
Massive nade coming in from Stone. Landing in the perfect one as well, catching two players out there. And on the back of it, they're going to survive for a while though, but how long is the big question. The best thing we could have got out here was that drone view, and we definitely did, because it was NoNx as well who were thinking to pounce on. And also Medal out there though, but since as you mentioned previously, Necro, you said that it's going to probably take a shift towards the farm, this circle, and it actually did right now though. TWOB trying to finish off the members of OG, the job which was started by the apes themselves is now being answered by TWOB as they get the first man. That means TWOB is the only team who can actually claim the bounty of OG.
There's a chance, a possibility, and TWOB can actually execute that as well. Marcos Gaming losing on the man. Naughty gets knocked out and eliminated by the play zone. And I think that's it for Marcos Gaming, if I'm not wrong. Not exactly sure though. Still, there are two more players standing in the DOA status. But as we move on towards OG, their rat still continues. But AKOP as well falls down. It's OG at the same time, trying their best to do something in this fight. But TWOB really keeping the players of OG on their toes.
Destroying them one by one. Not letting them move in the circle. And right now, it's going to be absolutely disastrous for the apes. Only Wiz stands. Can he survive? And can he save himself from giving away the bounty? Because he's basically gone into the arms of Sensei right now. And guess what? Sensei will eventually destroy Wiz. So the bounty has not been claimed.
TWOB is not done yet. They find a bit of that pit stop towards this house. It's barely on the edge. It's not the best possible stance. It's not the best possible position. But TWOB is desperate. And this is going to be their saving grace, at least as of now. It's something they need to work with. And since we know the zone shifted all the way towards farm, all the teams inside of Milta, they messed up big time. Slowly and steadily getting evacuated and eliminated. TWOB, they need to be on the move. One of their teammates knocked out, and both the players to get inside of the vehicle to get the revival up. It should be there without any problems. But the main issue is going to be the circle itself as it's closing in.
It's going to move a bit more towards center. All the teams on the edge, yeah, they're going to face some problems though, but most of them will still be safe. Revenant X-Park can perfectly gatekeep TWOB. Sensei is basically between a rock and a hard place. Behind him is True Rippers. In front of him, it's Likitha Esports. So right now, he's going to trust his man. And that is Trace. And the trust, it pays. Gets all three members of TWOB. This is insane performance.
How did this happen, Trace God?
Trace God.
Oh my god! Somehow eliminates all of them within a blink of an eye. And now Revenant X-Park, they've put themselves in quite the solid spot, but Fury falls apart. It's unfortunate. Fury needs to get himself back up on his feet, and Fierce, he's there for the rescue operation. Fury's going to be safe. Revenant X-Park still having the man's back. The moment the man's rescued, there will be a revival coming through as well. So Revenant X-Park, it's all good in the hood. And the good thing is that Revenant X-Park is all the four players standing. Sensei's a bit too far away. I'm not exactly sure what sort of contribution the man's going to be bringing in. Yes, there will be comms, but I highly doubt comms from that area will be too helpful.
The big thing is that Sensei has an idea that there's Likitha Esports out here.
He's getting pushed.
It could be possible right now. Yeah, there's going to be some problem out for Sensei. Can eventually try and run away though, but Trace can probably provide him some cover right now. He's going to rendezvous with his team too safely. Yeah, that was a risky move to pull off. A Hobbs and Shaw type of stuff, but still. Seems like he thinks he's a Dominic Toretto, and as of now, he's going to survive.
Somehow the man's alive. It's Sensei and his shenanigans. He always does it.
He's got a pump shotgun.
The man's out in the open as well, and he's tossed out a smoke. That's like a marker telling the other people that, yes, I'm over here.
Shoot me.
But I'm pretty sure he's got the cover of the tree pretty well, so it's going to be tough to gun the man down. Reckoning Esports still alive with all the four men. Unfortunately, Reckoning Esports does not really have a lot of elimination points in the bag. That's a bit concerning. Reckoning needs to move up, play things a little bit more aggressively. Get the elimination counter up. They need those points. Victor Sumus in the far fray taking those shots as well. And as I mentioned a while ago too, Victor Sumus on paper, they had the best possible position in that game. And still it's going.
But the thing is, they've normally had these kinds of positions as well. It's just been for the past 2 or 3 days where they've started to convert those games. We always hear teams say, right, and it's always the exact same thing every single time, that this was our chicken game. We messed it up right now. And Victor Sumus has said it probably the most right now, though.
God,
Reckoning.
no.
Unfortunate for them. True Rippers have been gatekeeping them. It is the same fate that God's Reign faced. Exact same thing happened. That's why you can see all of these vehicles out here. So they're not going to make it either right now. But Revenant X-Park 2 now being pushed by the members of NoNx. They are also being sandwiched as Smoker from Likitha is also behind them. And that nade is just insane.
Fierce falls down. Revenant X-Park. Massive wall of trouble. NoNx, even they're constantly ripping through the players of Revenant X-Park. It's also True Rippers taking those shots. Revenant X-Park is getting shot at from all different sides. And Trace God now is the only man standing. 3 teams took pieces of Revenant X-Park. Likitha Esports, True Rippers, and even the team at the front, which is NoNx. And now Revenant X-Park with nowhere to go, especially just Trace God, the only man standing. He's got the hovercraft to play with. It's going to provide him that cover as well. But the moment the entire lobby starts shooting at him, it's barely going to stand a chance. NoNx at this point now needs to deal with the players of MyG lost Hermanos, and Kalyuk somehow wins that duel. Shuts down Shadow. MyG lost Hermanos. Still a chance they can lose this fight. Kalyuk, this man, he needs to be on his toes. He needs to shut down the final man of MyG lost Hermanos, and he connects that shot. What a play that was from Kalyuk, eliminating 2 players single-handedly. and making a statement at the same time as well.
Just the support coming in from Anonymous to get that first knock. That's exactly what Kalyug needed. The brother in arm, the comrade during a disaster, stands strong and tall. And they still hold the northern part of this entire circle. They're also holding NINZA down on the edge, on a knife's edge to be specific. Look at the esports, they've got the entire Eastern fray right now. They're in a very solid position to play around with, but I still feel NoNx with the height advantage and every single thing that they've got for themselves, they should be able to close this game out.
And once again, talking about that one shack that we saw a while ago, right? Where the team ended up making a mad dash and got absolutely dismantled. Whenever we see a zone pop up in this area, there's always a team on that shack and they always get dismantled. It happens. It's a dead shack. It's not the first time this has happened. It happens every single time if the zone pans up on that spot. You will see a team playing around that vicinity and they always lose the fight.
That's exactly what they need to learn about, but can't really do anything. True Rippers, Victor Sumus right now. Two teams, we've got 4 players standing. Likitha Esports as well. Oh, finally start to take those fights though, but it's not really favoring them. It's True Rippers though from the long range. They've not just got 1 knock, but rather 2.
Solid stuff from True Rippers. Playing it slow and steady. Patience paying off. Trey Scott, the only man standing from Revenant X Park. He wants a bit of that piece of the pie against Likitha Esports. But Trace is the only man standing. That's the main issue for Revenant. Trey Scott is constantly jiggle-peeking that angle. He's playing for the intel. But True Rippers, they're going to move up close and personal now against the players of Likitha Esports. And I like this maneuver. But unfortunately for True Rippers, they've already lost out on one of their men. And True Rippers has taken down a 3-man squad. Jelly's down and out. A bit of a rough start to the final few moments. And Likitha Esports, keep this thing in mind. They've got all the 4 players still standing on the block. And these 4 players can be the game changer.
Spooker still holding down onto that angle. In a 1-3 close split. Not really too far away. So they're going to try and hold all of that down. Victor Sumus on the other hand. They're on the extreme western and southwestern fray. But eventually make their entry now. This is one of the big things, right? Every single team that you can see right now, they're playing on the edge. So it's not like you've got a clear line of sight and a clear 1v1 team battle with one of the teams. It's always going to be someone shooting behind you. It's going to fall down to the mechanical skills right now. But I still feel it's Likitha Esports who should have the advantage. Because Victorious would eventually try to fight against NINZA first and then could eventually get their entire focus of NoNx too.
True Rippers, the only possible thorn in their way is that one team in the front, and that's Likitha Esports. And Trey Scott, for some reason, this man's having the time of his life in the Smack Center. Likitha Esports, though, even they're quite desperate to find that one initial opener. And if you look at the radar, even Victoria Sumus is now starting to move inside of the zone. Even they will be quite exposed. Look at the esports. They might have a lot on their plate soon. But if they do manage to prioritize the fights well enough, they can be the one to take the cake and win the game. But Kalyug, how did he get ran over like that? Always just casually drives over him. But Thunder, he's out in the open, and he gets shot down. And this is the exact thing I was talking about. Look at the esports. They're having a feast right in front of them. But he can also quickly overwhelm them if they do not prioritize fights well.
They've got to try and find out the best fights happening out here, though. Waze and Mafia, they're trying to stop the members of True Rippers. 3v2 up in front of them right now as Shayan is too far back. He can't really provide any kind of cover, so look at the esports can have a feast, just as you mentioned. A nice nade from a Waze. This man's been knocking players left, right and center right now. As iQOO falls down, True Rippers left to just 2 members, Hydro and Harsh, who are not in the safe zone. The gatekeep is perfect.
Shan Mafia move in tandem, running over the players of True Rippers, and it's down to just Hydro. He finds both, and Owaze, he gets eliminated. What a massive blunder from Victoria Sumus. Always got claimed by Smoker from the back. Day saved for True Rippers. And Hydro can actually get the revival on the fallen comrades. This is what you call a second shot at life. And it's all thanks to Likitha Esports. True Rippers lives to see another day. This is massive.
But I can only say one of the guy right now. I'm not quite sure if they can get the second revival in and be in the safe circle at the same time. It's going to be pretty close, I'll have to say, as Hydro, he picks up the hovercraft, runs all the way in towards the center. Likitha Esports, all they need to do is take care of NoNx, by the way. Kalyug was eliminated by the play zone 2. That was thanks to the knock of Aways. He got revived up but didn't have enough time to make back in the safety as Kana out in the open from two different directions being shot at. And it's True Rippers to claim the knock and the finish. It's going to fall down to play zone.
It's the trifecta of death. Line of sights all over the place. And you never know where you're going to get shot at from. NoNx, the only man surviving, is right in front. And now True Rippers going to be the best possible threat for Likitha Esports and their chicken dinner. Likitha Esports just has a better positioning. Simple. They're supreme. And they're raining down terror as well. True Rippers. Her still in the back. As both the players of True Rippers now get inside of the vehicle. I'm not exactly sure what the game plan is, but whatever they're trying to bring on the board, it needs to be quick.
The main thing is they don't really have a lot of grenades remaining. Just one or two in the hands of each one of those players. I just saw one frag, one Molotov, and that's it. Hovercraft now, that's a mad dash coming in. Likitha Esports, they want to try and chase down the two members right now. Anonymous out in the open, it's going to be ran over up on the land itself.
I feel so bad for Anonymous. The man literally saw his death approach him, but now for True Rippers, the game's not done yet. Look at XOXO, even the man's fallen down. Hydro, he's doing a lot of serious damage. There's Hirsch in the back lines as well. The fight's now taken down to a 3v2. Still a possible chance for True Rippers to try and claim or do something. And True Rippers, what's going on the block? I'm still a bit confused. The only man alive is now going to be in the back lines, and that's Hirsch. And Hirsch is taking a bit too much damage upon himself. This Molotov should be the cherry on top of the cake, and that's what it is. Solid stuff from Likitha Esports. Yes, it's a snail pace approach, but Likitha Esports, at least they're showing some improvement.
After such a long time, after the long nights of coldness, they finally see the warmth of the summer. Eventually claiming that chicken dinner, that's going to boost their morale up, if anything. True Rippers as well, though, I'll have to say, continuing their pace of consistency all the way back from the previous 2 days too. Yeah. Now ending up at the second place with good amount of finish points as well. Considering no team took any kind of advantage of the power play. This is a very solid game for True Rippers.
Look, generally speaking though, it does not matter who's going to be the MVP of that game. The real MVP was the zone itself. Taking so many curveball and shift, quite unpredictable as well. In the end, just shifting out in the open and giving Likitha Esports a free knock in the park.
Yeah.
And Likitha Esports, they knew they've got the supreme positioning. All they need to do is just keep on taking those shots, keep on eliminating players that are there right around them, and that's what they did. And they got those stragglers, they got those individual points pretty well as well. And I feel a bit bad for Anonymous in the final few moments because the man literally saw his death approach him and he could not do anything, did not have enough time to get out of the way. But for now, let's move on to the stage for a quick little interview.
कल के दिन का आखिरी चिकन डिनर निकाला था ट्रू रिपर्स ने. जेली की टीम यहाँ पे भी मौका बन रहा था, बट लिखिता ई स्पोर्ट्स वर जस्ट गुड ऑन देयर डे. कंग्रेचुलेशंस बडी. ट्रू रिपर्स, नॉनिक्स आपके साथ उस फाइनल बैटल में थे वो दो टीमें, बट पोजीशन अच्छी थी, यू हैड द मैन एडवांटेज. डिड इट टर्न आउट टू बी टू इजी इन द एंड?
इजी तो नहीं था यार, थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट था. वो लोग अच्छा पुलअप बना रहे थे. वो उसकी एक, हम लोग इसको कीड़ा बोलते हैं, वो बहुत हार्ड गाड़ी है, वो उसको फाड़ना था तो उसको फाड़ा, फिर वहाँ से इजी हो गया था. वो मतलब वो गाड़ी फट गई ना तो मेरे को लगा इजी है, अब कुछ दिक्कत नहीं है, क्योंकि वो गाड़ी रहती है सर पे टेंशन रहता है, वो कभी भी आ जाएगा मेरे मुंह पे, तो उसका वो दिक्कत था.
हम बात कर रहे हैं इजी की, कंसिस्टेंसी की, चिकन डिनर्स की. कुछ टाइम पहले यहाँ पे कुछ बातें चल रही थी एंड आई एम श्योर सम ऑफ इट मस्ट हैव आल्सो फाउंड यू, जब कई लोगों का ये मानना था दैट लिखिता ई स्पोर्ट्स मास्टर सीरीज में एक अनडिजर्विंग टीम है. क्या वो बात वो कर गई which everyone would have hoped for to bring out the best of Likitha?
वही बात, अनडिजर्विंग यार, डिजर्विंग है करके तभी तो इतना मेहनत कर रहे हैं. मेरे को कुछ बोलना नहीं है कि डिजर्विंग ठीक है, हम लोग कर रहे हैं, मेहनत कर रहे हैं, जैसा बोला था कि ट्राई कर रहे हैं, कर ही रहा हूँ, अभी टीम पे वर्क कर रहा हूँ। जब हो जाएगा, टीम मेरी अच्छा करने लगेगी, जब मेरे को कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाएगा कि मेरे को बोलना चाहिए ऑडियंस के सामने जाके मेरी टीम के रिलेटेड, तब मैं खुद आकर बोलूँगा। बट अभी मेरे को नहीं लगता कि मेरी टीम डिजर्व भी करती है बोलना मेरे साइड से, कि मैं उनको अप्रिशिएट करूँ सबके सामने जाके। बट ठीक है, अभी ट्राई कर रहे हैं, जब होंगे मैं खुद आकर करूँगा। मेरे को किसी का नीड नहीं है कि कोई मेरे को बोले, मैं खुद आके बोल दूंगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं।
Actions will speak louder than words. That's a great thing to say. Just one last question. अब इस हफ्ते का टारगेट क्या है कि आप बाउंटी चाहते हैं अपने ऊपर या जिस टीम पर बाउंटी है उनको हंट करना चाहते हैं?
मेरे को तो किसी को हंट नहीं करना है, ना मैं चाहता हूँ कि मेरे को कोई हंट करे। मेरे को बस मेरा गेम खेलना है और मेरी टीम जैसा मैं चाहता हूँ मेरी टीम वैसा खेले, बस वही चाहिए। मेरे को किसी को हंट नहीं करना है।
Alright, doesn't matter. चिकन डिनर मिला है लिखिता ई-स्पोर्ट्स को। दिन का पहला 3 मैचेस बाकी हैं. We see you on the other side.
All I know is this.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
The zone, after taking the curveball shift, ended up gracing the players of Likitha Esports. And Likitha Esports, when they knew the opportunities right in front of them, they struck pretty hard, claiming that chicken dinner and also making a bit of a comeback in the overall standings. I know it's not a massive one, it's still a snail pace approach, but at least we're seeing some sort of an improvement. But if you guys want to keep your apps and data safe, I think you guys should move on and check out the Google Play Protect. It will be there to help you to keep your apps and data safe. But back towards the conversation that we're having, right? Likitha Esports, we're seeing that snail pace approach from them. But once again, back towards the conversation with teams like TWOB. Now, that's a real concern, man. Just getting 2 points in that game, I generally had a lot of things to say, but I'm pretty sure I would not want to say that.
Here's the thing, right? They had a pretty solid chance of winning the fight against as well with OG. They got 2 players out of there, but then again, Wiz ran away, and I have no clue who got the third finish of OG too. So those are some of the signs of concern where you've got a bounty right approaching at you in your hand. and even after that you're not able to claim that. Now that is very concerning for TWOB.
That's the thing, right? Especially when you know you're all the way on the last page, pretty much on the last spot. Just go for the bonus cards.
Yeah.
It is there to make sure that you take an instant leap in the first half of the board. If you do not have a well foundation set up, the bonus cards will help you get a massive catapult. It is there to help you get that comeback done. But teams like TWOB who are not doing good, still not taking advantage of the power play, still not taking advantage of the bounty system, they will stay at the bottom.
My whole concern about this entire thing is the fact that, yes, bounty system, power play, and even in the weekends, the impact play, these all are the rules for the teams who are on the bottom to eventually make that catapult up. But all we are seeing is the top teams as well constantly pushing themselves back up. Though we had the MVP of the previous one, that was Smoker. So again, he had some choice words to say for his team to eventually came out on top with that performance of the gun skills. But here's this thing that I also wanted to talk about. Yeah, that's fair. Trey Scott doing Trey Scott things. The compound and the positioning that Likitha Esports had, it is the same one where Revenant X Park were holding in. So the call from Sensei was good. The team was just not able to hold down and they were not able to defend.
Here's the thing, right? I still think Revenant X Park is pretty fine in the overall standings, right? We all know Revenant X Park is currently sitting in the top 4 as well. And that's something that Revenant X Park is really trying to abuse. They know they've got a cushion to play with, and that's why Revenant X Park is taking those harsh fights, which makes a lot of sense. I'm completely happy with that. But as long as Revenant X Park is getting that constant point flow, as long as they're getting that consistent point flow, that's all that matters. They need to keep that spot pinned down at the end of the day.
And you're talking about consistent point flow as well, right? The same thing is happening for True Rippers as well. Ending up at that second place, constantly getting in those frags, and this is a very
fine.
Yeah, and also this is a very unconventional Erangel that we've seen, right? We've been seeing those 25, 30-point bomber games coming in from the teams, and then we've got this one where we've got Likitha Esports as the top team, and they've got 19 points.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Esports with 19, as you mentioned, right? Even though they got the chicken dinner, still not a lot of points to back him up. And as I mentioned, this felt like a proper raw pro circuit game.
Yeah.
It did not even seem like there was any sort of power-ups available. There was no power play. There was no bounty system. That's what it felt like in the first game. It was a proper, raw, pro circuit game. And that's one of the main reasons why we are not really seeing a lot of points on the latter half of the board as well. And even in the first half of the board, it's just 19 points. That's how it happens in the official tournaments.
Exactly. And on the back of that as well, though, quite a few names all the way down on the other side, which we were not expecting. One of them being Orangutans. They've entirely lost their momentum right now. It's not just about the bonus cards as well. This was the team that had the highest finishes and a pretty solid position points. Right now, look at them. 138 finishes. Cool, that's nice. Still the highest. 58 position points. Fair enough. But it's always the bonus points where they're always lacking, only 41. And that is the thing that is creating the disparity between them and Genesis.
And once again, right, the only reason why we're seeing Revenant X Park play a ruthless game is because they know they're playing all the 4 games today.
Yeah.
So maybe that's one of the main reasons why Revenant X Park is like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we can keep on going for the chicken dinner for the entire time. But for now, let's just try to focus on firefights a bit more. Let's just try to play a bit more risky. Let's put ourselves outside of the comfort zone and see how well we can perform, which can be a good mindset to have before moving towards the grand finals.
I agree, because that's going to eventually help them out as well in that grand final approach to where they would be forced to take quite a lot of fights. Now, Likitha Esports on the back of that chicken dinner, eventually moving all the way up as well. But here's the thing. I would really need to see more performances from them to push them up in the top 12.
So here's the thing, right? I really want to know, did these teams have a conversation before starting the first game? Like, let's not go for the power-ups anymore. Let's play it passive. You will find out after this short break, though.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag. We have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, 0 stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
What's the cheat code, bro?
No code.
So, a script then or a bot?
No script.
Alright, class. For today's lesson.
I already taught her something.
Now that's a wicked upgrade. The TVS Raider iQOO brings segment's first GTT digital cluster with 85 plus connected features, best-in-class torque, and now 9 amazing colors. I would recommend you guys to check out our mobility partner, TVS Raider.
Fantastic bike out here. And my, oh my, alright. Did someone leave those indicators on, or is it just for that flashiness that we are seeing on the screen? I believe
it looks cool, right?
It absolutely looks cool, I agree. And honestly, that's also something that OG need to think about right now. They need to keep their heads calm. They need to keep their heads cool as well to try and push themselves all the way up right now.
Absolutely. And maybe the same thing can also be said for all the other teams that are struggling all the way at the bottom and maybe have lost the hopes of making a comeback. And that's what we've been saying like a broken record since the start. Go for the bonus cards. Take the advantage of the power play. Take the advantage of the bounty system. The moment you eliminate all the 4 players in the top 4 teams, you instantly get 10 additional points. But hey, once again, a huge shout out to OnePlus CE5. With that 120 FPS, you will get smoothest BGMI gaming experience out there.
I mean, in the segment that this phone brings in, 120 FPS, absolutely phenomenal. All the games that too as well, so pretty sure a lot of people are going to go out and buy those phones as well. And honestly, that's the fun thing about it, right? OnePlus, it kind of gives you one of the best in segment phone as well, which you'd really want to pick if you want to become an esports athlete out here, just like all of these players. But focusing back onto the map of Miramar, which will boot up in the next few seconds. Necro, you've been asking me for my predictions. Who have you got winning for this one?
Oh man, you shouldn't have asked me, especially on the map of Miramar. It's even tough. You know what?
Go for it.
I'm going to go with FS Esports. I think FS has got it this time in the bag.
Who let him cook? But alright. I think so at this point, you're picking FS Esports. I'm going to say middle. They've been constantly finding themselves in a bit of those kinds of grooves. Maybe this time it's going to be a game where they might pull themselves back up. I think so, maybe they can take it.
It really depends though, right? If the lobby's going to be extremely passive once again, then yeah, maybe there's a big chance Middle Esports can definitely go ahead and cook and maybe get that chicken dinner as well.
Awesome.
But if the lobby's quite aggressive inside of this map of Miramar, then Middle Esports, I don't think they will stand a chance to go for that chicken dinner, because Middle Esports, they're one of those chaotic teams. They like to thrive in that chaos. They like to live in the chaos.
True.
And amongst that chaos as well, they sometimes get eliminated.
That's the most important thing, right? They've got the firepower as well. There have been certain moments when Aimbot has shined like none other. But it's only Aimbot that has shined like none other. Kind of want to see from all the other teams right now though, but this plain fly path again from Minas del Sur all the way towards El Azhar. I mean, most of the teams who want to drop to their favorite locations will go, apart from someone who eventually wants to go somewhere like Crater Fields, El Pozo. You've got to pick those vehicles up right now. My question is, are we going to see the same drop clashes that we've been seeing in Hacienda del Petron by TWOB?
You see Reckoning Esports take an exit around that El Azhar area. Probably trying to move in towards Tierra Bronca, maybe Cruz del Valle. There's a chance. TWOB heading towards San Martin. It's been happening since the start. And once again, TWOB and Metal Esports will lock horns. That means we will see some sort of early game action on this map.
Finally. Finally. I wish that you would have selected TWOB as your team to pick up the chicken dinner right now.
Well, maybe we can still make the prediction for who's going to win the fight. Lock in 5, 3, 2, 1. All right.
Where did 4 go? Where did 4 go?
Because if I would have said 4, it would have been already too late and maybe someone would have gotten eliminated.
All right. I'm still going to pick Medal right now. Considering Termi has got his hands on the Winchester as well. One of my favorite weapons though. Alas, it's the only one that he can find on the rooftop. We'll see if he eventually manages to find a knock onto that one or no. It's going to be fortunate if he does.
Metal Esports. The good thing is all the players around that similar block playing in tandem, playing together. And the same thing can be said for TWOB as well. All the players, even they found themselves around that same vicinity next to each other. Everyone's trying to bring in that tight defense. Metal Esports backing away. They've got their hands on a decent bit of loot. They do seem quite satisfied as well. I'm not exactly sure, though, what still the game plan's going to look like, but TWOB, if they want to go for this fight, it has to be quick. If Metal Esports wants to execute the fight no matter what, it's got to be quick.
And they've got to wrap it up very smoothly as well, because there's Metal Esports lurking in the shadows. So if in case there's a back and forth knock hopping in here and there, you know there's going to be a very quick third party coming in. Right now, both of the teams have decided for a stalemate. They're going to be picking the loot in their own respective compounds, nothing else, but it's absolutely not going to be enough for anything that they would want to pull off in the middle stages of this game. So, this fight will come through. The question is, will it be in the first stage and in the power play, or are they going to wait for the push to come show?
Soul, led by the Batman himself. This time, Team Aryan in a big wall of trouble. As Devotee, the man's getting chipped up pretty low. He's got an 8 in his hands, and he wants to explode it right in the face of Goblin. And Goblin will push up close and personal and eliminate that man of Team Aryan. He's still knocked out, though the confirmation hasn't followed up. And Team Aryan, luckily enough, there is that cavalry instantly pouncing on top as well. But Cyrax is not going to stand a single chance as Goblin, he duels him down. And Henry in the back, even he is trying his best to fight back. And he does find those 2 crucial knock, but he gets knocked out himself. Saul with a massive man advantage, now looking unstoppable. And Team Aryan with just one last man standing. Not a lot of ways they can try and make a comeback, but now it is possible. Fight's taken down to a 1v1 and Saul's going for the reset.
Knuckles gonna get that smoke down and the revival as well. First hit being dropped down on the feet. Legit is gonna get that back up. Arun is gonna try and pull some kind of miraculous clutch in though, but the shot's being fired. DPS in the hand right now. Not a lot in the mag, just only 18, but it's Uzi up close. Changes to Scott as well to try and find one. It's a back and forth. Man up in front, but he still will not get the win as the shotgun prevail. Knuckle will save his team. And Soul all 4 standing.
He saves the Soul City once again. They think he's in the shadows, but they forget he is the shadow. Yeah, I know. It was a little cringe. Forgive me. But I just got to put it out there, you know, sometimes.
To be honest, it was actually good.
All right. If that was good, then don't clip the latter part. Just clip the part.
Clip the first part, yeah. It's going to sound pretty cool, to be honest, yeah. Hopefully they use that. Mostly they use the Hindi streams also out here. But we'll have to see. One thing out here happening is TWOB as well. They've been wiped off.
Yeah. Another fun thing that's going on is that you can once again spin and unlock all new Nixon Sinitra set available starting at just 10 UC, which is absolutely insane. But NoNx, as they're taking those shots onto Marcos Gaming, one of the men from the side of Marcos Gaming was knocked out as well, but it's fine. I'm pretty sure the revival's going to be there.
Unless you're going to have Kalyuk push up far front though, who can eventually try and maybe take those members down. Little bit to the wide left. He gets the knock. Gyro got. He's been brought down on his feet one more time again. soon as it was picked up. Now the problems are going to continue for Marcos Gaming. Can't really get the revival in on time again. And they're also pushing themselves back.
And now NoNx, as they're getting pounced on by the players of Marcos Gaming. Marcos Gaming, yeah, one of the men was lost out initially, but NoNx, they've got the man advantage on paper. This fight can easily be converted. And Kalyug, he gets the confirmation on towards Shirogod. The fight's still going on, though. A 3-on-4 to be executed. Marcos Gaming in a bit of a trouble. They found themselves in the worst possible pickle as they can. Marcos, they need to make sure that they do not drop any more bodies in this fight. And they body the players of NoNx.
Third party.
But Metal Esports with the third party, as I mentioned, they like to thrive in the chaos. And they're once again here to create a bit of that ruckus. As Venom pushes up. He pushes up close and personal towards Kalyug. Kalyug's getting pounced on and he needs to hold down the staircase. But instead, Kalyug has got his teammate. And that's going to save the day for him. Kana single-handedly manhandles Metal Esports. All that aggression now down the drain. And Scout is the only man standing whiffing those shots. Metal Esports, what a massive blunder. And even NoNx now getting pounced on perfectly. The timing is insane from Marcos Gaming. And out of nowhere, Marcos Gaming, they've got a shot at life.
They can eventually try and take the players down as well, but it's down to a 2v2 right now. Stone is going to be brought back up on his feet in the next few seconds while the cover is being provided by Noddy. 3 members strong right now, Marcos Gaming. Middle came as a blessing for them. And as much of it as it was a blunder, but NoNx Anonymous, dude, the way he stood strong was impeccable. And right now, they're doing it again. They're deleting Marcos down to the 1v1 and he still wins it. NoNx! They've done it! This is the reason why they're ranking back up on the second page.
Remarkable stuff from NoNx. But look at this curveball shift down south towards Impala. Even La Benedita is a part of it, but I'm pretty sure no one's going to be staying around that territory. It's too exposed. God's Reign in the Smack Center. A massive wave of vehicles now starting to move inside of the zone as well. Even FS Esports finally breaching in. But that massive fight that happened all the way towards San Martin. The way NoNx ended up winning that fight was remarkable. But Los Hermanos, this time, they're not able to pull off anything miraculous. As Los Hermanos, they lose the grip on this game as well. And they've been eliminated.
But it's absolutely fine, to be honest.
No, it's not. Los Hermanos, this is the second game where they haven't really got a lot in their hands.
I mean, for Marcos, I said. But for my G Los Hermanos, yeah. It's not even second game, to be honest. Here's the thing. It's technically the third if you're also counting the Erangel of last day. The last Erangel. Not really having any kind of good start. And then struggling on later on as well. And that is one of the big reasons why they're not in the top 8 right now. Losing their own grip in the leaderboard. Yes, maybe their focus is top 12, but this was definitely a team that could have eyed out for the top 4 to directly move into the grand finals of BGMS Season 4.
I believe every single team that's currently playing over here in these lobbies, they have the caliber, they have the potential to be there in the top 8. They have the potential to be there in the top 4 as well. Well, of course, a few internal things also affect the entire mood of the team as well. And we never know what's happening inside of the curtains, right? We never know what's happening behind the curtains.
Is there any specific team you would want to say?
I'm not exactly sure, man. I mean, it feels like all the teams on the latter half, especially on the last page, the synergy is missing.
I agree.
It does not feel like they're playing well coordinated. It does not feel like the communication's that fluid. There's definitely a lot of problems. This fight from Marcos Gaming, though, it was well coordinated. It was really good. They started things off with a bang. They had the advantage as well. But then NoNx, yeah, of course, them and their solo individual shenanigans, it's something that literally saved the day.
Ghana just doing a phenomenal job, my man. Absolutely insane. Reckoning on the other side. Winning a fight against my G Los Hermanos is one of the strongest things that they've showcased after a very long time. As you and Shadow both have been mentioning, this is the team that does not deserve to be on that last page. The roster has got so much potential. They've showcased in the past multiple times how good they are. Ranking probably in top 5, top 10, even in the official events. And you've got so many experienced players out in that lineup. You can talk about Flock. You can talk about Max. Every one of them have played under the banner of some big names out here though. But we talk about big name and Soul pops up on our screen.
NoNx. Not looking too good. And this time around, Goblin, he's got the Uzi to play with. You do not really see a player that often prioritizing the Uzi. But Goblin somehow is able to find a lot of success. But that nade from Legit.
Beautiful.
Quick 2-piece on the board. Ricochets off the wall and directly on the toes of the opponents.
Just when you feel that Legit is eventually fading away a little bit, that's when this man pops up and throws an aid like that. And yeah, the only reason Goblin was still onto that Uzi was because he did not have any shotguns. I'm pretty sure he loves S12K by now, but to be honest, with the amount of knocks he's got with the Uzi, at least on this map, yeah, I would say that he should use Uzi.
I mean, he was able to find a lot of value in the initial fight against Team Argon. He shut down 2 players up close and personal.
Exactly.
And even those 2 players had the hands on the shotgun, by the way. And speaking of shotgun, Middle Esports sent a third party towards NoNx. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Just because I predicted them to pick the chicken dinner?
Not exactly. I mainly wanted to focus on Middle Esports and how they got absolutely thrashed. I feel like, yes, Middle Esports wanted to take the advantage. They knew they've got the advantage as well.
Yeah.
They wanted a third party. They wanted to instantly be the pedal to the metal. And they did that as well. But the way they funneled through 1 point, they were just walking directly into the shotgun barrel of the opponents.
One of the big reasons for that was because, first of all, they picked the wrong timing to go for it. Instead of waiting for NoNx to fully commit with Marco's gaming.
Yep. Should have read the elimination feed better.
Yeah.
Should have waited for a few knocks to happen.
They should have waited for that to happen. They eventually rushed up a little bit. And then second, there was a player playing on the first floor who was constantly throwing out those nades and firing the shots to get the attention, just so Anonymous can have his time and remain anonymous and apparently get those knocks. That's exactly what happened. They set their foot in that spring trap and that blew instantly.
And then Scout in the end whiffing 3 shots.
Had to point that out.
Look, man, it is what it is.
Not defending. That's exactly what happened. Pump shotgun in the hand, not really the best if your aim is a bit shaky out here. Circle somewhere between Impala, Minas Generalis and La Bendita. Not a lot of compounds to play with, but Victor Sumus eventually finds themselves the best one.
OG? Even they've got a decent spot to play with. God's Rain on top of this little hill. And NINZA playing inside of the dip. I'm never a big fan of these type of positions. Because we all know if a nade's being tossed, it's directly going to land in that centric part. And for NINZA, there will be no possible way they can react well enough.
I mean, that's the thing here happening right now, though. One thing out there for all the viewers is also going to be the multicam feature on Jio Hotstar. You can watch squad like Genesis, Orangutan, or Revenant X-Pac. Specific POV. If you want to see what kind of shenanigans they're pulling. Obviously, 2 of those teams are not really playing right now, but OG and RNTX. You can try and watch that. Because, except of what happened previously, this time OG is actually well alive. Over towards the stage 4 as well. You can try and spectate all of that, but pretty open grounds out in front of everyone right now. And looking at the position of True Rippers, they've got to try and barge in against the members of Victor Sumus. And this engagement, we still remember what happened on yesterday's Miramar, don't we?
And at least in this game, we saw a few teams actually go for those power play points, right? Like Middle Esports eliminating TWOB in that battle. TWOB was only able to get 1 from Middle Esports, so they remained standing when they went for that third party. So that was one of those things. And at least we're seeing a few known names get eliminated here and there. We're seeing those eliminations happen on this game. But still, we're not seeing the hunger for the bounty teams yet. No one's going for the claim. Even teams like God's Reign, Soul, no one is desperate to go and eliminate the teams with the bounty on top of their head. Even True Rippers, they're playing their own game, playing it extremely passive, waiting for the right moment.
It's probably also because of one of the reasons where the format of BGMS is entirely different than any other event out there.
It's also quite lengthy.
It's lengthy, yes. And there's also a bit of difference out here coming in, right? It kind of forces you to have those early aggressions right now. My goodness, Jelly surviving by the skin of his teeth. I'm pretty sure he's going to be thanking all the gods that made sure that that one last bullet is not going to hit him.
And now, that True Rippers, it's a decent spot they've acquired. But still playing from the edges, though. That's the main issue. There's Victor Sumus right in front. And it's going to be tough for True Rippers to deal with the players of Victor Sumus because there's no proper line of sight. But True Rippers, they can still deal with the teams around the fray. Likitha Esports is still too far away, out of their reach. The zone's going to move away from True Rippers as well. And the main problem for True Rippers now is that the future grounds are quite out in the open.
And most of them occupied. So they've got to try and barge in against one or the other team. And the closest to them is going to be Victor Sumus unless they decide to move down south. Now, considering the type of team that we know True Rippers to be, they can try and wait for a fight between Likitha, OG, and potentially Revenant X-Park, and then they can go in. But right now, they find out an open knockout here, though. AKOP instantly answers back. True Rippers, they're going to have their own struggles happening in. They wanted to quickly run it down against Likitha Esports, but OG came out of syllabus.
And OG, since they know the foes are right out in the open, they want to take the maximum advantage and take those scrappy points home as well. But True Rippers, they've got different intentions as they push up. And look at the Esports, absolutely surprised. That spray down from Jelly finds a three-piece. And another man, he gets the confirmation. That was disgusting from True Rippers. Hydro puts the cherry on top of the cake, eliminating that last man. But that three-piece from Jelly, that surprise. Now here's the main question. Did Likitha Esports not hear him approach?
I have no clue. It's probably a comms issue right now coming in. They should have heard that vehicle. They should have heard him getting out of it.
Oh man, blunder.
Massive one, that too. Not a small one. Destroys the entire chance of Likitha to get this one.
Even in the interview, we saw the man from Likitha Esports. He wasn't too happy with his teammates. He had a lot of choice words to say, and there's clearly a bit of that disconnect between the team. Yes, they're getting those chicken dinners, but consistency is still lacking from Likitha Esports. And that's why the disappointment is clear.
Exactly. That's also one of the big reasons why we haven't really seen Likitha make that big leap onto the second page. Still lurking on that third. That is a big problem. One that needs to be fixed up before week 3 begins. Otherwise, not quite sure if they can get the wind back in their sails.
Good question. Destro from God's Reign. Now looking behind, there's FS Esports right around the block. And FS repositioning.
Can they defend?
Players driving inside of the vehicles and positioning themselves around a better spot. Utilities tossed against God's Reign. And even God's Reign is playing that defensive structure. Not really pushing up. Not really giving the opponents the satisfaction of finding that knock with the nade. There is that one man up close and personal, which is Neo. And if somehow Lovish pushes up and if he finds that knock onto Neo, God's Reign's defense will start to crumble. It will be a domino effect. But that first knock needs to be found.
And to be very honest, this is one of the most difficult compounds to push up against. There's so many avenues that you could eventually play in, and There's just not enough utilities with FS to try and clear out a lot of them. So you can try and move around a bit, force the other side to use some of that utility, and once they're entirely drained of it, that's when you can move back up. And also there's a pretty solid cover on their backlines as well from the other side because of some of the other solid compounds. So they can also move out and then go back in. Dodge all those bombardments right now though. Circle, very centric shift. So it's only OG and Revenant X-Park along with Soul who are going to be happy. And on the extremities, troubles will begin. You talk about OG. It's RNTX who are all the way far behind as well. Just Sensei close by, and Sensei can be a big game player. He's going to stay alive.
I think you're whiffing those shots. Utilities tossed out behind that tractor. And yeah, Sensei instantly repositions himself. He's got that party bus with him. OG in the far fray. Even they're facing a bit of that trouble since they're getting chipped up a bit low.
Yep.
They're getting constantly hammered down. Sensei, he stops that bus out in the open. He's got a bit of that haystack to play with as well. And he's going to play around that spot. Revenant X-Park is playing with a lot of risk. But luckily enough, they've got all the 4 men still standing. And if they do manage to find one knockout against the players of OG, that's definitely going to disrupt the flow by a bit. But True Rippers, problems continue for them as OG's raining bullets against him. And it's also some heavy damage inflicted. Even Victorious Sumus, they now start to take shots against True Rippers as they're finding a lot of success as well. Even Soul's doing the same thing. True Rippers, they found themselves right in the center of the chopping block and they're getting chopped up pretty low.
And the fact is they're extremely on the eastern edge right now, not even close by. Just get destroyed from every other angle. Not the best possible position to try and hold for. Victorious Sumus faced the exact same problem when they were pushing out in that area. Reckoning and Soul eventually destroyed them, with only Shayan remaining. Right now out in the open. FS and God's Reign, they've decided to change their positions a little bit out there. I do not like what FS is trying to do. One big nade and they're all going to be destroyed, and they've got nothing to play around after the smoke fades.
Oh, Levi. Smoke fades away the man once again.
What is this
He's
claustrophobia?
alive. All the players of FS Esports behind that one little block. And imagine if a nade's going to be there. It will be an instant 3-piece found. And this is what I was talking about. One nade and 3 finishes. A surprise package unfolded. And God's Reign Neo, the man claims those elimination points for himself. That was a date with Destiny right there. And God's Reign, since now they know that spot's opened up, they can actually push up and play that spot as well and surprise and punch the players off NINZA.
Wow. Circle shifting all the way away from that spot, so I'm pretty sure they might not go for that now. If anything, they'd have to force this fight against NINZA as well. And they need to get it wrapped up quick in the next 30 seconds without any casualties, because the blue will push very quickly from this end. This is the far end from the circle.
That was a disgusting knock from Destro. He's already found the opener, but God's Reign, they're still getting shot at from a completely different angle!
What?
Neo wanted to run the man over, but instead Neo messed up big time, and that's God's Reign. They're trying to traverse through the open ground, wanting to push against NINZA. God's Reign, they're being pressured by the teams around them. It's not a good spot to be in. God's Reign, they lost this fight because of a rookie mistake. They should have laid out a lot of smokes around this field and then maybe make the pounce. But God's Reign running out in the open to punish the players of NINZA was not a good option at all.
And he could not have rammed that vehicle in as well. The covers were so perfect. Eventually Justin falls as well, as Sensei and the rest of the members of Revenant X-Park take him down. Now it's going to be NINZA trying to push against RNTX. But this nade, this opener, this could be big. And it's not from NINZA, it's actually OG. Even Soul are firing in the exact same direction right now. So Revenant X-Park are in the center and they get destroyed in an instant. Now NINZA can take some space away. Now this is a trifecta of teams.
My question is, did they claim the bounty?
I don't think
Revenant
so.
X-Park, they had all the 4 players alive a while ago, but when we saw them, they only had 3. I'm not sure if they were able to claim the bounty, but Sensei gets eliminated by someone else, so yes, of course not. Revenant X-Park, eliminated from the game. Bounty not being claimed by the players of OG, but for NINZA, there's a chance to close things off for the bounty. And the same thing can be said for the likes of Soul as well. Vehicles on the verge of exploding. NINZA, can they actually go for the recovery? The chances of that are extremely low. Dragon's getting shot at. There's a little gap. And Soul abuses that. And now it's time to focus on the players of OG. OG's out in the open. Soul's got the advantage, constantly spamming through his Goblin. Soul 16 finishes. And Nuclear Chicken Dinner's booting up.
4 up in front of them as well, or rather, if they get this one, that means it's going to be a bare minimum of a 30-point bomber. The one that we were actually missing. And Legit is feeling himself. This is not just a Legit's performance. It's also Goblin, it's also Knuckle, and it is also Joker. Having 4 of their finishes each right now, iQOO being brought down onto his knees again. The revival is just not coming through. And the smokes are being faded away, but Atanki, he needed to get that knock. It's not really happening right now as Aru is also down on his feet. So everything is going good for Soul.
OG's getting shut down and Legit. This one single man is putting up so many spanners in the works. Aru moves out in the open. That's a confirmation right there. And OG, a 2-on-3 man advantage in the hands of Soul. And keep this thing in mind, Soul has a lot of eliminations. This is a nuclear performance that's booting up on the screen soon. I think he gets chipped up pretty low, but he makes sure that he's going to find the knock as well. Soul, the fight's now taken down to a 2v2. Still anyone's cake. I think bandage being tossed. That's actually a first aid. The man patches himself up, but the main issue is he's got no boosters.
No helmet.
One bad move. One bullet to the skull. I think he's eliminated from the game.
The Smalley? Nah, too far shot.
But he's got his hands on that P90.
Oh, lovely.
Which is an absolute shredder. If Legit manages to push up, that P90 will outgun anyone down. It's one of the most powerful weapons in the game. But Legit, I'm sure he's just waiting for the right moment to use that. And now Soul, they're 2 out in the open. Blue's on the move. The players had nowhere to go. And now Legit left in a 1-on-2. The Blue's going to be on the move even for the side of OG and Legit. He's just waiting for that exact instance when the players will be too exposed.
Oh.
And since Legit, he got his hands on that P90. He's waiting for the right moment to strike. Utilities are now going to start to damage the man too much. Legit, he needs to reposition. And that was quite quick. Quick moves from Legit. Backs away from the Molotov as well. He's got that Rich to play with. This man's reaction time is insane. And that P90, he does not even need an ADS. It's so precise he can easily aim him down. But no, instead he messes up. He should have used that P90. Oh my god. Legit panicking in that situation, and OG closing that game. This might just be the comeback for OG towards that first spot.
Highly possible considering they've got 2 more games after this. But what a way to pull themselves back. What patience, what due diligence. A 4v3 converted into an advantage for Soul in a 3v2, and then OG bring it back, sustaining just enough for the stage 9 Blue to make a move because it forced the members of Soul to move out. And then Atanki and Vizgod's duo, my goodness. Atanki firing a few shots only to receive some return fire. That's when Vizgod peeks in and gets a knock instantly. Phenomenal performance from OG.
I still believe in that last fight, the P90 should have been the choice of weapon.
I agree.
That was not a shotgun range. Shotgun is too inconsistent. Yes, sometimes you can find those surprise connections, but once again, as I mentioned, it's surprise. It's heavily dependent on luck and how the spread's going to be. Before now, let's move on to the stage for a quick little interview.
बाद मुद्दतों के ये घड़ी आई है कि हम ओजी से बात कर पाएं क्योंकि उन्होंने निकाला है चिकन डिनर। आरू, आपके 2 खिलाड़ी, उनमें से कौन होगा MVP इस गेम का, विज़गॉड या आतंकी?
आतंकी आई गेस, क्योंकि उनका डैमेज बहुत ज्यादा था।
आतंकी ना वेस्ट थी और ऊपर से एक से बढ़कर एक टीमें आपको टैकल करनी थी। रेवेनेंट भी थी, गॉड्स रेन भी थी, एंड में सोल भी थी. Did at any point of time you lose confidence?
नहीं, कॉन्फिडेंस तो बिल्कुल नहीं. चाहे टीम कोई भी हो, ऐसा कुछ देखते नहीं हम कि सोल है या और NTX है, तो थोड़ा वैसा कुछ कॉन्फिडेंस फुल ही था क्योंकि जोन अच्छा था, फेवर किया था और निकालना ही था. हालांकि लास्ट में थोड़ा नॉक हो गए थे अपने बंदे, लेकिन उसके बाद हमको पता था कि हमको अब संभालना पड़ेगा और वो हमने किया.
देखो ये तो हो गई गेम की बात. विस्गॉड भी यहाँ पे, यू वर अलॉन्ग विद आतंकी, द प्लेयर्स हु वर अलाइव. ये दोनों चुप रहते हैं जब ये दोनों गेम के बाहर हो जाते हैं, ये पीछे से बोलते रहते हैं?
नहीं, बोलते रहते हैं. ये लोग का मुंह बंद नहीं होता. नहीं, आरू भाई का एक बार क्लियर हो जाता है, बट हमारा एक ही का बंद नहीं होता मुंह.
ब्रो, कुछ दिन पहले तक सारे इंटरव्यूज तुम्हारे साथ हो रहे थे जब टेक डाउन्स की बात हो रही थी, फिनिशेस की बात हो रही थी. फॉर द लास्ट कपल ऑफ डेज दोज इंटरव्यूज हैव नॉट हैपेंड. ऑल्सो द चिकन डिनर्स हैवंट कम. तो ये जो स्लिप आया है ओरंगुटान का नंबर 1 स्पॉट से, वो क्यों हुआ है?
बाउंटी दे के थक गए थे, सोचा बाउंटी से हट जाते हैं, बट आज आईजीएल ने बोला कि बाउंटी वापस से चाहिए, तो वापस से आ गए.
डज दैट हेल्प जब बाउंटी आपके ऊपर नहीं है? बिकॉज नॉट एवरीबडी इज हंटिंग यू डाउन.
नहीं, अब आई गेस वो प्रेशर की आदत हो गई, तो जब बाउंड्री नहीं आता तो मजा नहीं आता है.
लिसन, ओरंगुटान बैक इन द हंट, बैक टू वेयर दे बिलोंग. बाउंटी आ जाएगी भाई. ये एक और ब्रेक लेंगे और उसके बाद वापस आएंगे अगले मैच के लिए.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag. We have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, zero stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings. You forgot to charge your phone. Why won't you wake up?
हम बिगिनिंग हमेशा नहीं था स्टार, यूसी लेने से पहले सोचता था 100 बार. डर था बड़ा स्कैम्स का, डाउट्स थे हजार. तब प्ले ओपी आया तो लगा ही नया पर, तो मैंने लिया यूसी सेव गेम किया रेस. प्ले मेरे साथ यहाँ ड्रॉप से कम हार्ड, प्ले तेरे साथ ओपी तू भी कर ले स्टार्ट.
Well, once again, welcome back after that short break, and you guys as well can stand a chance to win something incredible. If you spin now, there's a chance you can unlock the suit that's available inside of the game, starting with just 10 UC, which is absolutely insane. And we're speaking of the Dravian X suit.
Yeah, it's going to be really great. I really want that X suit, so I'm definitely going to try and unlock. Maybe I am lucky. You should also give it a try.
Yeah, absolutely. I will try to give it a try, right? At the end of the day, 10 UC is like something everyone's got lying around in their account as well. And if you do not really have it, well, you can, of course, go on towards Google Play and buy that UC as well. And we know you can also get those reward points as well. That's probably the best possible thing out there. But back towards the conversation that we're having, right? Now, we have seen 2 games so far. In those 2 games, yes, a few new names as well have been erupting up. I'm speaking of Likitha Esports in that first game, getting that chicken dinner. In the second game, OG proving themselves once again, and now showing that OG's form might just be back. And even inside of the interview, they said that, yeah, they were outside of the top 4 because they did not really want that bounty on top of their heads, but now they're once again back in the top 4 because they want that pressure.
Maybe they really want that pressure, but let's be honest, Orangutan this time, they got the chicken dinner, but they didn't have too many finishes to back them off. And that's the reason the MVP is going to be legit from the side of Team iQOO Soul. 7 finishes and 39% finish contribution. Team iQOO Soul were having too many finish points, and if I'm not wrong, total 18 finishes is what they got.
Exactly, legit getting that 7 finishes. Of course, Soul, as usual, solid stuff from them, and legit has always been the main playmaker from the side of Soul. But then if you move on towards Knuckle getting 2 rescues, being the best companion, you've also got Atanki right there with 1 finish and 3 assists, being the finisher. OG, as I mentioned, yes, they won that chicken dinner, but there could have been a solid chance where even legit could have stood a chance to win that game. Only if it was stuck to that same weapon P90, then maybe he could have got those knocks.
Maybe he was feeling confident on the shotgun. So many possibilities could have been there because it was such a precious situation. We don't know what was going on in his mind, because legit was the guy who was able to bring down 2 of the players of Team Orangutan also, and the first knock also came through legit only. But looking at the never settled moments, I think it was a pretty aggressive Miramar as compared to the previous Erangel.
Yeah, absolutely. This Miramar definitely started things off in quite the fiery note. NoNx taking down Marcos Gaming, but even for a while, NoNx got third party by Metal Esports. And speaking of Metal Esports had a bit of that drop clash to worry about against the players of TWOB. And as usual, TWOB ended up losing that drop clash, so that's a whole other story as well. But OG, with the way they were playing in the final few moments, we never thought that OG might just be able to win this duel, especially if it was taken down to a 2-on-3 situation, but OG played it pretty well. Waited for the right moment. They knew the zone's going to flush out the players of Soul from their comfort zone, and that's what they exactly did. Waited till the zone started moving, and they started taking those shots, eliminating those 2 players in the back, and then legit was the only man standing in the end.
22 finish points, total 18 finishes, few extra finish points were there in the power play itself. 6 position points, total 28 points. iQOO Soul on the top in the match ranking. Orangutan in the second spot with total of 18 points. They didn't take the advantage of the power play, but hey, OG really needed a winner-winner chicken dinner, and that's a good step in the right direction. But NoNx, this time NoNx were also pretty aggressive. They were able to deal with the entire team of Metal Esports. And honestly, Necro, I didn't understand that third party which came in from the side of Metal.
Yeah, I mean, they should have waited a little bit more since Metal Esports only had 3 players standing for that fight. They should have waited for NoNx to fully commit against Marcos Gaming, but got a little bit too overeager, I guess, and Metal Esports just wanted to be aggressive, claim those points inside of the power play, which makes a lot of sense too. And looking at Metal Esports just standing in the overall standings, they're still not doing too bad. And since Metal Esports knew they've already eliminated TWOB, those were like 8 points off the rip. So Metal Esports could actually go for that risky play since they already pretty much achieved that quota in that game.
But look at the overall leaderboard. Genesis, they are on the top, but now Orangutan, they have propelled themselves on the third spot with 255 points. Hero Extreme Godlike on the fourth spot. iQOO Soul, yes, it was a pretty aggressive game from their side. Too many points accumulated. Sitting on the fifth spot. One more similar performance from the side of iQOO Soul. And they can be the top 4 because they are just 1 point deficit from the team on the fourth spot.
And now, as we know, even inside of this upcoming game of Sanhok, the group's going to be switched up, right? Yeah, we did have the first 2 groups playing for the first 2 games, but now one group is going to shift, and the other one's going to pop back in, which is, of course, a great thing. We might see a few fluctuations once again in the overall standings. We might see a few bounce backs here and there as well. But NoNx breaching inside of the top 16, that's a great thing. NINZA, yeah, we're seeing those moves from them. But as we all know, Meta NINZA, it's one of those lineups that's supposed to be the champion lineups, and this sort of a performance it's not accepted.
100% agreed. Meta NINZA, they have been facing a bit of the downfall in the performance. But speaking about the downfall, few of the teams are also facing that. But you know what real winners do?
What?
They pick the Duolingo English test because it is
Ooh.
accepted by 6,000 plus universities, and I'm sure, Necro, you are going to ace that.
Of course. I mean, I will try my best, since at the end of the day, even though I'm an English commentator, I'm pretty sure there are a few mistakes even I make. I'm a human being at the end of the day. I'm not an AI. Before now, it's time for us to toss to a short break before we move on towards the short map of Sanhok.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag. We have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, zero stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back after that short break, and now it's time for us to head on towards the rainforest of Sanhok. As we know, it's quite a zone-oriented map, and there's a big chance a team that likes to play it passive, a team that likes to take it slow in the initial stages, that might come through victorious. But still, since we know there are those bonus cards active like Bounty and Power Play, I think someone should go and take the advantage of that.
Actually, the players of Orangutan did try to do that against the players of RNTX. So many times we saw OG going up against RNTX, and every single time RNTX they backed off from that fight. But eventually that fight happened toward the end of the game, where Sensei was picked off by someone else and Bounty wasn't claimed. Later on, even the players of iQOO also tried to do that by getting the winner chicken dinner, but OG denied that also.
Sanhok is going to be the upcoming map in Group B, and C will be the one to chime its out of the action. As I mentioned, new group will now be in play, where we see teams like K9 Esports get pretty locked up. They're going to start things off on the map of Sanhok itself, and everyone from K9 Esports, their mental for some reason does not seem that great.
I totally agree to what you said. K9 Esports, they have been facing a major downfall in the performance, especially after that 1v4 which Hunters pulled off against them. I think the main reason was that one particular fight. That has affected the mental of the players of K9. But speaking of Genesis, I think they are doing pretty decent, more than decent. 8-bit, yesterday even they got a chicken dinner. And this guy, he's always happy, no matter what the performance is going on, if they are at the second page on the leaderboard or the first page on the table toppers. He's always smiling, being the optimistic guy for the team.
Well, that's the reason why the man's performance is extremely consistent, right? He's never really the one to think negatively. He's never really the one you will see down inside of a team. He's always someone that's cheering up the team. He's always someone that's having the smiles on his face. And that's maybe one of the best reasons why he's so consistent no matter what team he's a part of. But you guys as well can earn rewards on every purchase with Google Play points.
Well, I'm definitely going to earn few rewards for myself as I have got too many Google Play points. But speaking about the players of Team Orangutan as well, I think they are going to be a bit happy as they have got the chicken dinner, and maybe on the map of Sanhok, OG can actually resort to that aggressive play style and try to get those extra few finish points. And this time, since Genesis also is in the play, maybe someone can try and go for those extra bounty points.
One thing is for sure, the moment you see that team on the block, you know they will definitely be the bounty hunters. And even 8-Bit, recently their performance has been on an uphill curve, which is a great thing, and that's the sort of performance you like to see from a banner like 8-Bit. You would want to see them inside of the top 8. You would want to see them probably move in the top 5 as well. And slowly and steadily, 8-Bit's definitely getting there. Even though that Somraj is not a part of the playing four anymore, but still, somehow, Raiden's doing a great job in leading the pack.
Oh, definitely. Raiden has been doing pretty decent, getting those opening frags. In fact, in few of the tricky situations, I think Raiden has stepped up majorly. S-Power always do S-Power things, getting those frags, those points, extra points for the team. But I really want to see the 8-Bit which will go for those extra bounty points. Just like what iQOO did in the previous Miramar, dropping at 18 finishes, total more than 20 finish points. This is a sort of performance I think all the fans of S-Power, Somraj and 8-Bit want to see.
I really want to know who was giving the flying kiss to. Man spreading some love. Even Goblin. Man seems quite happy. A bit shy of the camera maybe. Knuckle as well. Everyone from the side of Seoul seems like they're in quite the good mood. Jonathan, neutral face. Nothing really going on in the man's mind, because he knows his team's doing pretty good at this point in time, on the second spot in the overall standings, looking pretty unstoppable. But once again, we recorded a video with Omega, asking a few questions, so let's move on to that video and check it out.
Omega, आपको ज्यादा प्रेशर किस चीज का फील होता है? ऑडियंस की एक्सपेक्टेशन का या अपने ही स्टैंडर्ड्स पे फेल होने का?
ऑडियंस का प्रेशर तो देखो रहा नहीं है, मतलब स्टार्टिंग से गेम खेल रहे हैं तो अच्छा ही लगता है जब ऐसे आवाजें आती है, एक प्लेयर मारा, आवाज आई, वो कॉन्फिडेंस बूस्ट मिलता है। जो नए नए प्लेयर्स हैं उनको थोड़ा प्रेशर फील होता होगा, और वैसे ऐसा कुछ डर है नहीं। पता ही है कि मेहनत करते रहेंगे तो अपने आप कामयाब हो जाएंगे, तो मैं ऐसे सेकंड थॉट्स नहीं लेता, नेगेटिव चीज की साइड में जाता ही नहीं, पॉजिटिव सोचो अपने आप हो जाएगा।
Omega talking about how positive mindset can actually help an esports athlete and his teammates as well. And he's always trying to calm him down. He's always trying to be the positive support for his teammates. Once again, Omega having a word with his teammate, Ninja Boy. I mean, when it comes to overall standings, yeah, things do not seem good, but IRL, things definitely do seem quite good and dandy.
I'm sure, Necro, you remember back in 2023 when Ninja Boy used to be the guy who always used to be the MVP in every single tournament. That Ninja Boy is kind of missing in the Master Series. We haven't still yet seen the full aggressive side which K9 can actually pull off.
And that's the thing, right? If you go and really have a chat with the players are always going to say there's still a lot of games left, there's still a lot of days left. You never know, it's too early to judge. That's what everyone's going to say. But guys, let's be honest, time flies by pretty quick.
सुनने में आया है कि क्लच गॉड ने एक नई टीम बनाई है मैड किंग्स के नाम से। आपको उन्होंने लाइनअप में क्यों नहीं लिया?
लाइनअप में लिया नहीं ऐसा तो कुछ भी नहीं है। जब लाला ने ये और खोली थी उसके 6 या 7 महीने पहले हमारी बात हो रही थी कि गॉड तू ग्राइंड कर, तू भी खेल, अपन साथ में वापस टीम बनाते, अपन वापस साथ में कम बैक करते हैं। तो उस टाइम मेरी थोड़ी पर्सनल लाइफ में कुछ चल रहा था, मेरी मतलब मैं उस स्टेट में नहीं था कि मैं खेल सकूं, तो मैंने स्ट्रेट अप उसको मना कर दिया था कि भाई मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगा और तू कर अभी कंटिन्यू, तू अच्छे प्लेयर ले, मैं भी अभी खेल नहीं पाऊंगा तो मैं तुझे भी उस जगह क्यों डालूं। एंड शैडो से भी मेरी बात हुई थी BGMI से पहले कि गॉड तेरा क्या सीन है, तू खेलेगा क्या, आजा खेलने। तब भी मैंने मना किया था कि नहीं यार अभी मैं सच्ची में नहीं खेल पाऊंगा, तुम लोग खेलो, मैं तुम लोग की टीम के लिए भी वो लाइबिलिटी या कुछ ऐसा बनना नहीं चाहता, तो तुम अच्छे प्लेयर लो और अच्छे प्लेयर्स के साथ खेलो। बट अभी जब मेरा सब कुछ सॉर्ट हो चुका है तो मैं खुद ग्राइंड कर रहा हूँ, अभी मैं खुद कमबैक दे रहा हूँ, तो ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं यार कि लाला या शैडो का बुरा लगेगा मेरे को, ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं।
Z-God finally making a comeback under the banner of 4TR. Yeah, the performance hasn't been great. It's not been reflecting that well. But as we know, no one's really going to be eliminated in the league stage itself, so it's all good in the hood. For TR, even if they do not manage to place themselves in the top 12, they will still move on towards the playoffs for a second shot. But playoffs is where the real deal will begin, because playoffs will be extremely crucial, and it will be quite cutthroat. It's just one day where you've got a chance to prove yourself.
And the main thing is you can't really leave things for the 11th hour, because you don't know what circumstances, what situation that be. Maybe everyone will go and try to hunt the players down. You don't know what's going to happen if you leave things for the last few games. So I think K9, everyone else, they should try to buckle back and deliver a good performance as soon as possible.
Well, you know what? Since we've been having a look at so many clips as well, soon even Robin's video will be popping up on the screen. Since we had a few questions to ask the man as well, he's also the coach of God's Reign, so let's check it out.
टीम में सबसे आलसी और अनहाइजीनिक कौन है आपके हिसाब से?
नहीं, अभी तो कोई नहीं है, बट हाँ पहले का मैं बोल सकता हूँ, हाइजीन तो ऐसा है कि सबका अच्छा ही है, बट अगर आलस के अगर उसमें बोलूं रेटिंग किसकी ज्यादा है टीम में, तो वो जस्टिन था. बट गेम को लेकर नहीं था, गेम के बाहर जो और भी चीजें रहती है, एक्टिविटी रहती है, उसमें जस्टिन भाई का ऐसा रहता है कि अपनी नींद मुझे बहुत प्यारी.
Justin, seems like the man is pretty happy with his sleep, huh? This man loves to sleep quite a bit. At least that's what the coach is saying. That Justin prioritizes his sleep over everything. Which is honestly a good thing if you think about it. You need your good sleep hours at the end of the day to have a good focus inside of the game, to have good concentration power as well. So if the man is completing his sleep hours, that's good.
I think Scaredy Cat is also following the steps of Justin. Highly possible.
I've also heard a theory that everyone's body clock is different. Some people, for them, 7 hours of sleep is required. For some, 6 hours is required. For some, 8 hours is required. For some, they can't sleep the entire day. It's just about the body clock of every single person. But hold on to that thought, as the plane's going to be in the skies once again, this time starting all the way from Nakam towards Cal. This plane flat path, I mean, it's on the map of Sanhok, so it's not really going to be that differentiating. But we're still going to be looking out for a few drop clashes towards boot camp. There's definitely a big chance we might see that happening.
Highly possible. Everyone will try to take advantage of the power play, since we also have got the players of Group C coming in the fray. We have got Hero Extreme Godlike, Mad Kings, 8-Bit, Global Esports. These teams, they never shy away from those early aggression. And you were talking about the drop clash. Seems like the players of iQOO and team Meta NINZA, they're going all the way towards the side of southern side of Painan. There is a high probability of them facing each other actually.
Oh, Genesis Esports right next to 4TR. This is one of those fights that will be quite spicy. Genesis Esports, I mean, we know they're the hunters, and they've also got hunters in their banner. And these 4 power play points, Genesis Esports will be quite happy to claim. And the crazy part is, there's also Mad Kings right next to 4TR Genesis Esports. There's a bit of that relation as well. There's a massive past between these 3 teams, and they have decided to drop right next to each other. Soul, and a bit of that enemy turf. There is one of the men isolated right next to Knuckle. But luckily enough, Knuckle does not have any visual of that player. So Knuckle's just going to back away towards Painan, get his loot up.
This is what happens when all the 4 bounty teams are in the lobby. So many fights happening here and there. Even the players of Phoenix Esports and Revenant X Spark are also locking horns with each other. But it was iQOO Soul who was able to get the first finish. But Sensei knocked out. Fury going for the rescue mission, going for the revival. 2 finish points already accumulated. But the revival onto Sensei is also going to be really important. Also, we have a complete Western Circle.
Sensei knocked out. The revival's going to be there. It's not a concern. Phoenix Esports, it's one of those teams. Recently, the performance has been going up. They have been winning those firefights too, but Revenant X Spark, they've already started things off with a bang. Taking down 2 players of TWOB. Phoenix Esports as well, losing out on 1. I'm not sure what happened in this territory, but yeah, things definitely started off with quite a quick burst. Even Meta NINZA taking a fight against Soul. They've managed to rip one of the players apart. And Meta NINZA is instantly going to back away, happy with those 2 points they've gathered. It's an even-Steven trade.
But seems like they're backing off from that fight, because they themselves faced a casualty in the name of Poco. I think this is a wise decision coming in from the side of Meta NINZA. I think if they're going all the way towards the side of Ruins or southern side of Ruins, they might face the players of Global Esports. So they have to carry forward this rotation very carefully. Even the players of Mad Kings and OG are also in the close proximity. Initially, Mad Kings also went against the players of Genesis, where they found one knock and confirmation. Now Genesis left with only 3 players. And guess who Mad Kings picked off? Hunters.
Unfortunate. The main man, the main playmaker, not there in the game anymore for Genesis Esports. But now it's time for the remaining 3 to get something done. The disparity of points between Hunters and his teammates wasn't that massive. Even the rest of the 3 boys are doing pretty good to keep up with the pace of Hunters. So one thing is for sure, Genesis Esports, all the players are great. Meta NINZA finding another loose straggler, somehow claiming that elimination point as well. That's 4 points off the rip. That's a decent start from Meta NINZA. And somehow 8-Bit, they are now starting to commit a lot of mistakes. And Meta NINZA is punishing them without any efforts. There's still Beast in the back, but I highly doubt he's going to be able to do anything.
Consistency has always been a problem for the players of Team 8-Bit. This time, Raiden was picked off without having that surrounding awareness. They just walked out in the open, and Meta NINZA was there to capitalize on the situation and instantly flushed out Raiden out of the circle. 8-Bit left with only 3 players, going all the way towards the side of Sami for now. But even Global Esports is in the close proximity.
Indeed. OG at this point, I mean, the weaponry is not great, but the position definitely is decent. OG can't take advantage of that. Global Esports, a foe taking a quick stroll, but it's not going to be a problem even for the foe, since S-Power's going to make the great escape. It's all good. 8-Bit's still fine. But losing that one man by the hands of Meta NINZA was definitely quite unfortunate. They never knew that Meta NINZA is going to be in that spot. And that's why you got to expect the unexpected. For Phoenix Esports, even they're not expecting the unexpected. And TWOB could have been a straight spray down. They still spot out all the players of Phoenix Esports. But unfortunately for Picard, he's not able to thread the needle. He's not able to find any knocks. That was an advantageous start for TWOB. Even one knock could have brought the fight in their hands. But Picard messed up.
Pukar, Mac, Phantom, Avi, such veteran players of BGMI. And despite that, they're sitting on the 24th spot in the overall ranking. So many mistakes are being committed. They are very much aware that God's Reign, they love dropping in towards the side of Paradise Resort. And they usually go for those northern rotations. Out in the open, instantly picked off. Finish points confirmed by Justin. And now TWOB is only left with a single guy, and that is Mac.
As God's Reign, even their position has been around that Paradise Resort. They like to drop in towards Paradise Resort, play around that vicinity as well. But we all know Sanhok is a zone-oriented map. You cannot keep on playing away from those spots. You need to be around them. And already, Genesis Esports, they're getting picked off. 2 players down. Genesis left with just one last man. And I guess the entirety of Genesis, they're done for. Eliminated from this game. We talked about that consistent spree. We talked about that dominant run from Genesis. But this might be the place where that wind is taken away from the sails.
Look at the amount of teams, the cluster which is forming around Paradise Resort. Everyone is going for the northern rotation. Phoenix Esports, God's Reign, TWOB, RNTX, even K9 and 4TR. Everyone is around each other, and 4TR Z-God finds a knock onto Beast of K9.
Looking at the position of Global Esports on the map, this should be their game. In the Smack Center with a massive split. And we all know Global Esports' first game is always a chicken dinner. That's something about Global Esports and the first game. It's a connection that always clicks pretty well. But back in the blue, God's Reign, they're busy taking a lot of fights. There's K9 Esports, there's Phoenix Esports, TWOB as well around that same block. There's one more team right in front of God's Reign. There's 5 teams next to each other. At Revenant X Park, that will be 6th. And if Mad Kings moves up that same fray, that will be 7 teams around that same spot.
You know what that means? 3rd parties, 4th parties coming in. Mad Kings clutch. God, what is happening? He has been knocked out by Playzone. Do Mad Kings lag those mid kids? I don't know, man. But iQOO Soul Joker, he also gets a knock on to Beard Baba. In the entire situation, now Hero Extreme Godlike, Global Esports, iQOO Soul, they do have a pretty decent spot to go for that chicken dinner. Even Orangutan, they are going for the southern rotation and can potentially look for the southern dominant control. But look at the height advantage which Godstraight is having onto the players of K9. Gets a perfect knock. Delta, my man, is going for those finish points. But K9, what a blunder, man.
What was he doing in the middle of the water? K9 Esports knows there's a lot of teams around them. And the man is bunny hopping in the water. Oh, K9 getting caught off guard. Should have pre-planned the moves better. And this is one of the main reasons why K9 Esports is not able to find the success as well. K9 needs to do something. And if I'm not wrong, soon the entirety of K9 Esports will be put to an end. And actually, they have been eliminated from this game. It's done for. 0 points from this game. That's a game wasted right there.
I'm telling you, Necro, that 1v4 of Hunters has affected the mental of the players of K9.
Even before that, K9 was not playing good. Let's be honest.
At least they were somewhere in the top 16 or somewhere close to top 16. Currently on the 18th spot with just 147 points.
Look, being honest, K9 has always been about that one explosive performance.
Yeah.
It's all about that one massive performance. K9 Esports is never consistent. But that one game where you see K9 Esports pop off on a different level, that's where you see the comeback happen. But even if K9 Esports does get that one massive game, I don't see a world where K9 Esports is going to be able to catapult themselves in a good spot. Because now already the teams above them, they're starting to build a decent lead. K9 is just sitting on 147 points, and to crack inside of the top 8, you need more than 205 points.
But look at God's Reign. They are aware about every nook and cranny of Paradise Resort, and they actually took advantage of the situation. They've got 10 finishes in the backpack and no casualty. Still, we have got the players of RNTX in the close proximity. I think this game, God's Reign, they're just going to focus on those finish points because they're still in the blue, taking the damage. And I don't see any rush coming in from the side of God's Reign to go for those rotations. Although Delta has been knocked out and rescue mission should be the priority right now.
Revenant X Park, fierce, sideline, and he's constantly taking those shots. He's softening up the players, but Revenant X Park eventually eliminated from the game, and God's Reign, that's 11 finishes. God's Reign, this team is on a tear. Eliminating teams after teams, and this is one of those teams that you never expect to be this aggressive, but God's Reign this time around switching the characteristic. And this is a completely different God's Reign.
It was such a huge cluster around Paradise Resort. Kind of a frag fest for the players of GDR. 11 finishes accumulated, and now finally God's Reign, they're going for the rotation inside the circle where Hero Extreme Godlike, they'll find themselves in the epicenter. OG still sticking to the southern eastern periphery of the circle. Marcos Gaming around Painan do have decent compounds. But now the new cluster is forming around the players of Global Esports, where we have 8-Bit, Meta NINZA, even NoNx as well.
Zone shifting a little bit on that northern side. Marcos Gaming towards Painan, and that city is quite a stronghold from them. Mad King's Apollo, the man softened up and taken down extremely low, by the way. And he's also moving out in the open. I don't think Apollo's going to survive. The blue's constantly taken away, and yeah, Mad King's Apollo, the man's knocked out. God's Reign, this team, yeah, they've been on a tear. A lot of elimination points accumulated, even inside of the power play. In the stage 2 as well, the contribution's been quite good. And now, looking at them, the positioning does not seem that great in the circle. But still, something can be done. God's Reign just needs to be the cleanup crew once again, start cleaning up teams left, right, center.
They are most certainly going to do that. Maybe look for the dominant control from the northern side of the circle, where we have got the players of Phoenix Esports as well, and the last player of 4TR. But TWB Mac still surviving out in the blue and in such a close proximity to shadow of Mad Kings. Late rotations are the key when you're the only sole survivor for the team. We have seen Ronnie actually do few shenanigans in this particular map in terms of survival, but unfortunately he's somewhere else right now playing. But maybe even Mac can also pull off something similar. But Shadow OG, he's walking on thin ice, going directly towards the side of God's Reign.
Absolutely. And as God's Reign and Mad Kings, they definitely do lock horns. And God's Reign, they've already tasted blood. We know God's Reign is hungry for eliminations. While Marco's Gaming on the opposite fray, yeah, that charm has been missing. That surprise factor from Marco's Gaming, it's been a while since we've seen that. Marco's Gaming needs to click back with a chicken dinner. Their position is fading away in the overall standings. Now they're on the 14th. It's not bad. But Marco's Gaming with a chicken dinner can actually do much better.
I think Noddy and Stone BGMI have been great additions in the entire roster of Marco's Gaming, but I think they're not using their capabilities to the full potential. They can actually go for the aggressive fight, at least take the advantage of the power play. Maybe that can catapult them in the leaderboard, but for now, Atanki finds a knock onto Beast. 8-Bit wanted to have the southern control. Things are not going in the favor of 8-Bit. Earlier, they lost onto Raiden, and now Beast also going down. This is not looking good for 8-Bit at all, especially the way Mac is pulling off his rotation from the southern end.
That's rough luck. And yeah, as you mentioned, there's of course going to be a man from the southern side approaching them soon. So that's a backstab 8-Bit's not going to be ready for. But luckily enough, Mac's got no intentions of punishing the players of 8-Bit. So 8-Bit's still going to be satisfied and happy with where they are. OG tapping away. And 8-Bit still surviving. But OG, they're not done for yet. They want to take the fight at close and personal. They want to get those elimination points. There are 3 lying in front. OG's got 0 so far. But they've got a chicken dinner. They've got the momentum. OG, if they end up winning this chicken dinner as well, there's a big chance they might actually propel themselves on that second spot, toppling over the likes of Revenant X-Park. And honestly speaking, for Revenant X-Park, yeah, it's been back-to-back games where we're not seeing that performance ooze out. Oh my god, what?! One single spray, and AKOP eliminates all of them! Unbelievable! Mind-blowing! This is incredible stuff from AKOP! That was a crazy spray down! It's one of those clips that you do not really see pop up that often, but that was disgusting!
AKOP, this guy has done so much in this year! But that spray was so precise. The players of 8-Bit didn't even anticipate what... I'm sure they don't even know what really happened to them.
Crazy stuff from OG. AKOP able to finish off 2 with that one single spray down. I mean, that one little dash where 8-Bit thought maybe they can make it. They took the odds, they took the gamble, and got absolutely shredded.
Yeah.
Mad Kings with just Clutch Guard left standing. And even Mad King's been taking a lot of questionable decisions these days, right?
Totally
Honestly,
agree.
even Mad Kings, they need to wake up. It feels like as the days are passing by, teams are taking things casually and lightly, which should not be the case. They should start threatening themselves up even more.
Honestly, Necro, if you notice, Sanhok has always been a problem for the players of Mad King. It was the map of Sanhok itself where aimbot of Medal was able to 1v2 the players of Mad Kings. It was Apollo and Ninja, even right now, currently, Clutch God. He has been spotted down by the players of Marco's Gaming. Even the players of OG, Atanki, is aware that someone is holding on to that little compound over there. So it's kind of a done and dusted case for Clutch God at this point. And finally, Jonathan gets the best out of him. 3 teams were keeping an eye on Clutch God.
Even 4 TRs eliminated from the game. Yeah, teams following up that same fray. Marco's Gaming now trying to move out in the open, trying to get outside of that eggshell. But as they're trying to do that, they're also getting discombobulated themselves. Hero Extreme, Godlike, they've got their eyes pinned towards Painan, and there's no way Marcos Gaming is going to make it out alive. They need those vehicles, but they do not have them.
Circle is still favoring few teams, but Global Esports going up against the plus of Mid and NINZA, where Dragon has been knocked out. It all comes down to Mania, a 1v2 situation, an M416 and an AKM and DBS on the other side. Seems like the DBS is going to get a better out of Mania, as Global Esports, even they have been eliminated on the 9th spot. Mid and NINZA left with only 2 players. They've got 6 finish points, but have got a bigger problem, as they have got the players of Orangutan, Vizgood and RO in such a close proximity. Marcos Gaming going up against the players of Hero Extreme, Godlike. This is not looking good. Reaper in such a close proximity to the players of OG Vizgood. He has got a DBS, and RO providing all the backline support to him.
OG, they're ready with the nade. And this nade, if it does find the click against Beard Baba, it will be OG's fight. And that's what happens. Last man, Mid and NINZA did not even stand a single chance, as he never even saw where he got eliminated from. And OG, that's some light work against Mid and NINZA. A while ago, OG had no finishes, but it all started with 8-Bit's demise, and now OG's got 5. All the eliminations they're getting are just the bonus. OG and Godlike sharing the same territory, and soon someone has to start fighting. Someone has to start eliminating in order to get that space and in order to establish that supremacy.
I think grenades are going to come handy in this particular fight, as nades being lobbed from both the sides, but no connection has been made, Necro. It's all come down to who gets the first knock.
Oh, but look at the Hero Extreme, Godlike. For them, the problems approach, but this time in the name of NoNx. And already NoNx, they're dropping down bodies, but even Jonathan falls apart. For NoNx, this can be the best possible opener, but for Hero Extreme, Godlike, this can be the chance where they will be eliminated from the game. There's OG right next to him. Even God's Reign wants to take the advantage in third party. Hero Extreme, Godlike, this could not have been any worse. NoNx pushes up. Yeah, of course, they pretty much get themselves eliminated, but at the same time, Hero Extreme Godlike's game has been spoiled. But no, instead, NoNx eliminates Godlike, and even NoNx gets eliminated by the players of OG.
For such a long time, Hero Extreme Godlike was maintaining that circle control. They were right in the epicenter. They were aiming for the chicken dinner, but the fourth party which came in from the side of God's Reign completely annihilated the plan. But now OG also in the crosshairs of the players of God's Reign. So legit, knocked out by Vizgood. Such a beautiful spray coming in.
Yeah. But once again, speaking of that NoNx situation, they did not just spoil the game for themselves, they also spoiled the game for Hero Extreme Godlike. Oh, that could have been Hero Extreme Godlike's game, but NoNx, those naughty shenanigans. Soul giving that elimination point away to the blue, so that's no one to be claimed. And now OG, they're in the prime spot. Yeah, God's Reign still playing around the edges. They've got the man advantage, but OG has the positional and the high ground advantage. And now it's going to be an uphill battle for the likes of God's Reign. And OG also has a bit of that split working with. Vizgood is all the way in the back, while the 2 players in the front inside of the zone. I'm not sure how well the split's going to work out. But if God's Reign's able to thread the needle with one of the well-placed nades, then maybe OG's defense will crumble.
But here's the thing, Neo is the guy who is leading the front line, and he has got 0 utilities. No smokes, no grenades, no molotovs. He's entirely relying on his weapon. And if Atamki or Vizgood, any of the player of OG finds a connection, an initial opening knock onto the players of God's Reign, the entire situation will go in the favor of OG. Kind of a stalemate situation. The smokes are there. And the entirety of God's Reign is behind that rock. Even Aru doesn't have any grenade.
Yeah, they don't, but the zone is constantly favoring the players of OG. And remember this when I said, Sanhok is a zone-oriented map. If the zone's popping on top of you, you will win. There's no force in the world that's going to stop you. Not even the force of nature can stop you from winning. Unless God's Reign gets somehow lucky and dismantled OG in a miraculous manner. But for now, these utilities from the side of OG, they're really starting to hammer them down. Vizgood, he's cooking up another nade, and this should be able to find that knock. And that's what maybe happens. Blue's on the move, and with that, even God's Reign's on the move. And God's Reign, they've already taken a lot of damage. They've dropped down on too many bodies. OG's down to a 2-man squad. God's Reign with 3 players still on the block. This nade, it might just find the knock of Justin, and that's what happened. Death throwing Delta down extremely low. They toss out the Molotov to force out the player from their comfort zone. But even Aru, he's taken down pretty low himself. He needs to patch himself up. This nade! It does a lot of damage. Another man down. And OG, they claim that chicken. WizGod, he was the MVP in that fight. He took down all the 4 players, by the way. He eliminated the entirety of God's Reign.
Back-to-back chicken dinners secured by the players of Orangutan. At this time, they were pretty aggressive. They maintained the entire southern control, and the grenade from the side of WizGod, the utility usage of Orangutan has been so precise, and that was something which the players of God's Reign were lacking. Disappointments can be seen clearly on the face of the players of God's Reign, but Atanki, that smile, WizGod, Aru, everyone, everything played to perfection.
Look, it does not matter if you've got the man advantage. If you do not have the zone advantage on Sanhok, you are not going to win, buddy. And that's what happened there. The blue was on the move, and with that, even the opponents try to move at the same time in that same pace. But while moving, they were taking a lot of chip damage upon themselves, and God's Reign, in the end, the constant bombardment from WizGod, those nades just got a bit too much to deal with, and in the end, they ended up crumbling.
But here's a silver lining. God's Reign, they do have good amount of finish points, especially the finish points which they accumulated in the power play itself, as we can see in the final blow as well, that God's Reign, the entire cluster which formed around Paradise Resort, they took the advantage of it, but this was the moment WizGod, with those U-turns, was able to completely shatter the entirety of God's Reign.
And in the end, gets a quick 4-piece too. I mean, WizGod, that was some disgusting stuff. 2 knocks with nade and 2 with the M416. Before now, it's time for us to toss to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
What's the cheat code, bro?
No code.
So, a script then, or a bot?
No script.
Alright, class. For today's lesson...
I already taught her something.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Well, that game of Sanhok now marks OG as our 4th team to have the back-to-back chicken dinners out here right now on those 2 off-maps, which normally is not the off, but rather the OG map and an off-map out here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be scared yet. Alongside me, we've got Shadow. You're watching the Android OnePlus BGMI Master Series Season 4. 3rd game done and dusted, and what a fantastic play from OG. I'm pretty sure they're going to be so happy that they would eventually order some of the Swiggy burgers, which are on for just 99 people. You can quickly scan the QR code and order for yourself some amazing Swiggy burgers on the Swiggy 99 store out here. And also, it's free delivery. Now, since we're talking about delivery, let's talk about the player who delivered that MVP performance for his team, WizGod. Mind-blowing.
Well, 7 finishes and 47% finish contribution. And if you notice something, Every team who got back-to-back chicken dinners, they were on the map of Miramar and Sanhok. But the main question comes is, can OG pull off the hat-trick?
Every single time we ask this question, we asked it about Soul, we asked it about Godlike, we asked it about Genesis yesterday. Now we're asking it about OG. You know what? I'm going to say, nah, that ain't happening. Triple is just not on the board for all the teams out here, though.
Let's just stop hoping for it, and maybe then we can see hat-trick.
Exactly what I'm trying to do. You know, reverse psychology being pulled out here right now. But that's the big thing, right? We're having a full conversation about how things went down. So let's have a look at that as well, people, with the OnePlus never settled moments of the previous one. Because it was indeed a good start from OG, but man, the domination of God's Reign was impeccable.
Yeah, they started off from the Paradise Resort and almost wiped everyone off. He was holding on to the terrain around Paradise Resort. So many finish points. Last I saw, they had 11 finishes when they started their rotation from Paradise towards a circle around Ruins. And speaking of Ruins, it was a completely Ruins Island final circle, and Global Esports, this was a big blunder from their side, as it should have been a good game from the side of Global Esports as well.
Considering the circle which was forming constantly on their part as well, yes, I agree. This should have been their game, but guess what? Some storms, they brew up without your knowledge out here. You mentioned about those amazing early points as well shared over when you were sitting with Necro, and how impactful God's Reign were even in the entire power play. 18 finish points for themselves, 24 total point. OG just topping the chart up one with 25 for themselves and a back-to-back chicken, but back-to-back bad games coming in for quite a few teams out here, specifically if you're talking about Mad Kings, TWOB. Yeah, not looking pretty solid on the chart.
Yeah, just a single point. That early drop clash which TWOB hadn't entirely go in their favor. Global Esports also had to take an early exit from this one. But looking at the leaderboard, Genesis still on the top, but OG now they are on the second spot and solidifying their spot. Revenant X-Park, it was not really a good day for them. Now down to third spot with 270 points. And God's Reign, finally they are back in top 4.
All the top 4, or rather the top 8 teams if you're talking about, they're either at 200 cross point or are super close to that 201, because even True Rippers, Medal Esports, they're a bit close to them. But NINZA, again, a team Shadow which probably is the only team apart from TWOB who have played 27 games but still have not found their own groove, and just having 158 points. I'm not quite sure if this is one of the best performance of Meta NINZA, if anything.
Not really. Rotations have been a problem for the players of Meta NINZA, and also the fact that they do engage in few bad fights. Look at that. They have got 2 chicken dinners, and despite that, they are on the second page of the leaderboard.
Exactly. I mean, they've been having so many struggles right now. It just seems that only OnePlus phones can eventually save them. You have to check out the OnePlus 13R, people. One of the best in-class segment phone. And you already know, I love long battery life. I love those long gaming sessions. I like to spend my entire night playing the game so that I'm absolutely drenched and I have eye bags on the other day. But ladies and gentlemen, you can do that too. But for the last match, we'll go on a short break. We'll be back.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag. We have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, 0 stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. for OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Red Bull gives you wings.
With everyone absolutely ready, locked and loaded for the last map of Erangel, we are hopping back in the arena, ladies and gentlemen. 2 back-to-back chicken dinners for OG to propel them all the way up in the standings to the second place, with again a game to spare right now. And maybe if they're able to perform in the similar manner, and if Genesis have got a rough start for this one too, we might possibly see them reclaim that first spot. But there's one thing that all of you can eventually claim, and that is you can earn rewards on every purchase with Google Play points. I know you all like to get all of those nasty, nice looking skins as well of the vehicles too. Maybe the Lamborghinis, maybe the Koenigseggs, maybe the Bugattis. Go for it, do that, and you'll also earn some extra points as well if you use the Google Play points. So make sure you're using that. But coming back onto the conversation right now, 16 points behind the first placing Team Shadow. Do you think it's the best time for them to target another team?
Could be possible.
Go for it.
As it's the last game of the day, and we have got 4 bounty teams in lobby. What could be the best time to go for those extra bounty points, those power play points? Go for the aggressive stance in this last Erangel, and maybe, we never know, we can see a hat-trick also coming in. But you know, it is a day of comebacks as iQOO Soul. They got so many finish points in the map of Miramar, God's Reign in the map of Sanhok. But let's find out who is going to dominate the map of Erangel.
You already said it. Who is going to dominate the map of Erangel? That's the foreshadowing out here that's been happening. And as the plane starts all the way from Stolber, it's going to move all the way down southwest towards Crore and Primorsk. Now, considering the flight path a bit tilted towards the northwestern side too, that means we will not probably see God's Reign jumping all the way down to Sosnovka military base. And maybe they might actually take an early exit to run all the way up north as well. We've seen them go sometimes towards Zarki area. But considering they also have a bounty on top of their head now, they have to play it safe so as to not let anyone else claim all of that. Genesis dropping down all the way towards Stolber. That again means Godlike will not be dropping there. They're playing in the exact same group too. Godlike this time taking an unconventional drop shadow. First of all, it's a split between Jonathan and the rest of the members. And it's such a massive split. Jonathan is in the middle of a cluster.
He most certainly is.
That's scary.
NoNx, Mad Kings, even they are in the close proximity. And the way Jonathan is moving, seems like he can actually potentially clash with either NoNx or maybe Mad Kings. But we also have the plus of 8-bit in the Pochinki. And RNTX, even they are not towards the side of Milta this time.
Yeah, because that's just so far away and you'd rather not drop anywhere around Stolber or any of that place too. Because you'd want to be safe. And one of the unconventional things happening out there is again Global Esports trying to chase down the members of TWOB. A bit close by right now, and that's absolutely tough, man. Being dealt as a team who can be targeted so the points can be gained, that is absolutely harsh. Down south, God's Reign up close to the members of Phoenix as well, as they've decided to take that risk, get the vehicles on the northern end of that bridge towards Ferry Pier and then rotate all the way towards military base. It's a bit risky, but it's fine. Phoenix, we have never known this team to be the aggressors for taking the bounty, have we?
Here's the thing. Yes, Phoenix has always been the passive ones, at least in this tournament. Otherwise, the potential which Gotten has, they can actually go for the aggressive stance as well. But God's Reign, they have done this so many times. Take those vehicles around Ferry Pier and later on go towards the side of military base. No matter which circle, which flight path it is, Destro always knows a way to reach his drop city. But RNTX finally going all the way towards Milta. But Global Esports, even they are also having a drop clash against TWOB in the city of Yasnaya. And both these teams had to face an early exit in the previous one. It is actually a pretty slow power play, by the way.
it's just like how the first Erangel went, Shadow. And you mentioned about the drop clash with Pukar and the boys, right? Now I'm thinking about the conversations that have been happening since last year. When we had the lineup of Carpe Diem, Pukar was giving the calls for that exact same lineup as well. I believe it was Fierce, Max, a couple of more players out. And I think so since that time we have been seeing Pukar not really having any kind of open areas to drop to. Because that time it used to be a drop clash with Somraj and the boys. And then WSB would also used to show up constantly for the third party. So even if they would survive the first fight, they would eventually get taken down. They were facing those same struggles back then. And then he decided to leave Pochinki for Somraj, eventually going to the other places. And every other drop location that could give you a decent start used to be occupied.
Yasne has been a drop location for so many other teams as well. The fact that we have got 24 teams, you're eventually going to face a drop clash with someone. And you have to pick your poison, that whether you're going to go for the drop clash or you will go for the security drop which you have. And TWB this time they're heading all the way towards the side of Lipovka, because let's be honest, they're not doing that great in the overall ranking. When you're the table toppers, you can actually go for the drop clash, at least if you are in the top 10. And that is what Hero Extreme Godlike loves to do. Since they are in the top 6 currently, they were in the top 4 previously. They can afford the early aggression. And currently, the way they are going all the way towards south, they can actually clash with the players of Meta NINZA. A team which is struggling today. Not just today, this entire week they have been struggling.
You know, there's a pack of top 3 teams. And then there's a pack of 3 to 6. And then there is a pack of 7th to, let's just say, 14th. So every single pack is eventually divided, because that's where the gap is small, and then it increases somewhere around 10 to 15 or maybe even 20 points. So I think so the consistency is always going to be the key. And as you mentioned, Godlike as well, I wouldn't exactly say that they always love to go for those drop clashes. We do have seen them fighting early on, but it ends up being a date with Genesis every other time.
I'm not saying Godlike loves to go for the drop clash. The fact that Godlike doesn't shy away, they don't run away from that. Even if they face a drop clash, no matter what position they are in the overall standings, they stick to their drop city.
True.
They try to defend it no matter what the outcome is. And that is something which I like about Hero Extreme Godlike, that Punk, he's not someone who will get intimidated by any other team.
And it falls into that category that if you are strong, you will be ready for any kind of fight.
Fear makes the wolf bigger than it is.
Exactly.
Always remember that.
I will remember that. That's actually a pretty nice line. You should eventually quote that.
I have too many lines, by the way.
Go for it. Use them.
I will.
It's a long tournament.
For sure.
Plus you're doing the double shift either ways.
I have one more for Hero Extreme Godlike.
Go for it.
A ship is safe in the harbor, but that's not what a ship is made for. They are an aggressive force. I want to see Hero Extreme Godlike go for those bounty points, go for the extra points in the power play. And I'm sure every fan of Hero Extreme Godlike wants to see that.
You probably touched the hearts of 200,000 people who are watching both the streams combined. So yeah, I agree. And I think so this is one of the main reasons why even TWOB is not being able to perform right now, right? Pukar, he's got some pretty solid boys, but if you've been tested for such a long time, you'd either shine the brightest or you'd wither away and shatter like a glass. And with the way how chart has been, yeah, I guess the shine is eventually missing right now. It's going to take a long road for him to pull himself back up into that top competing teams, man. Because, let's be honest, there have been a couple of teams, even in the interview, who mentioned that TWOB, yeah, if there was any other team that they would bring back in BGMS from BGCS, then yeah, they'll bring back Sarang and the boys, and TWOB or even Likitha Esports. Eventually, we should be sent back. But here's the thing, Likitha Esports has also performed. They have showcased themselves.
Inconsistent.
That
Just a single chicken dinner And in the next game, they were the one to be eliminated pretty early in the game. But for now, iQOO Soul. Global Esports is actually chasing the players of Team iQOO Soul, and this is not looking good because it is happening all the way in the blue itself. Out in the open, Knuckle stops his buggy and gets a better out of Virat. The counter knock is there onto Knuckle from the side of Troy, but Manya also goes for that duel. 1v1. Can he really save his teammates? Because he's trying to take the player in the moving vehicle, and that is going to be Joker himself. This is not looking good for either of these teams.
Spray God Manya, 2 players only remaining right now as iQOO Soul. They eventually try and target their ex-IGL-led team of Global Esports. My oh my, this is not just a clash of 2 big teams, Shadow. It's a clash of ego right now. And it is shining through. Spray God. Yeah, definitely not the type of guy who'd shy away from this fight right now. See a player out up in the open as well. Shotgun up in the hand, so he's not really moving up forward. It's Legit versus Spray God. And Legit is proving himself multiple times. Manya is the only man who stands right now against the boys he used to lead once. It's going to be his time to try and maybe shine, maybe prove his worth, maybe prove that he is the big Goliath. But no, he's going to run away.
He is going to run away, but look at Revenant X Park. They made it inside the circle, but now 2 players are heading towards the side of Global Esports and iQOO Soul to do a third party. This is not looking good. 2 players of RNTX inside the circle, 2 players going all the way towards the side of iQOO Soul. But finally, Manya going all the way towards the sides of school apartments, because that is going to be one of the safest area to hold on to. iQOO Soul, maybe they are chasing.
You wanted to laugh as well on that.
No, it's such a complicated situation.
Oh my god.
I've never seen this RNTX to go for the chase. Of course, the opportunity was missed out of their hands. But look at the circle this time. Genesis trying to traverse all the way from the northern side. And you were mentioning about TWOB. Look at the top 6 teams. What's the reason that they are able to put so many points on the board?
Bonus points.
No, it was because of week 1. In the week 1 itself, they built so much safety cushion for themselves that they can actually go for the aggressive side in the week 2.
I agree.
All the teams who are not in top 6, I don't think you can see aggressive side of either of them. It's just 1 or 2 games. From last few days, 8-bit has started showing those signs of aggression. But other than that, everyone else is opting for the good rotation and good fights.
That's one of the big things which you mentioned, right? Because eventually if you're playing aggressive, you're also getting those bounty points. Yeah. You're utilizing that power play. And again, getting those extra points specifically on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, thanks to your impact player, that eventually helps you boost up, right? Genesis getting that 50-point bomber thanks to the entire team, and then the cherry on top by Hunter. Those are the main reasons why we're seeing those top 6 teams be on top. Just as you said, aggression, getting them those bounty points, eventually increasing that lead.
The first 4 days of the week are going to set you for what kind of play style you're going to bring on the weekend.
I agree.
RNTX once again, Sensei, the goated IGL who knows how to move into the center of the circle. But for now, iQOO Soul, they're having a trouble with the vehicle.
If you're talking about trouble with the vehicle, Manya was the one who had the biggest trouble out here. Because with the way how he was driving, I was not quite sure if he would end up reaching the school or if his vehicle would blow up midway. Some rotations coming in as well from the bridge. Bit difficult one to try and pull. But Omega and the boys can definitely do that up north of Rozhok. Down south. Godlike trying to clear everything towards Pochinki. And right now, there's another clash that's happening, and it's Revenant X Park, which you mentioned, right? They went for a 2-2 split, sending 2 players down to have a piece of the pie of the third party, but eventually brought them back. Now are facing off against the members of NoNx, but there's also 8-bit lurking out through. So RNTX will need to win this fight cleanly.
NoNx, 1 player down. All thanks to the players of Team 8-bit, and seems like Fury with a grenade is trying to get the second one as well. And Kana also bows down. It's only Kalyog, if I'm not wrong, left from the side of NoNx. This entire situation is not looking good for the players of NoNx because they were surrounded out in the open by RNTX and 8-bit as well. And like you mentioned, Godstone is maintaining the southern control. But we also have Hero Extreme Godlike going for that southern rotation and Beast.
Whoa.
What a spray coming in from the side of Fierce. A great addition in the entire roster of RNTX. But Sensei has been knocked out by S-Power. This man, he can do anything. He can turn the situation in the favor of his team. S-Power gets 2+ out from the side of RNTX.
As I said, they needed to win that fight cleanly, but again, the positioning of 8-Bit was impeccable. Spreading all the way out throughout that hill, taking control and then moving forward. Already claiming a couple of lives as well for RNTX, and now they're handicapped. This 2-2 split not really working out for them in the case when they had to pick the fight. And this is how unconventional it has been, Shadow. It's already stage 3, not a single team eliminated right now.
Yeah.
Few members here and there, yes, but not a full-fledged proper team. And this is also one of the big reasons why we have so many teams right now in circle.
You know why? I'll tell you.
Go for it.
They don't want the power play points. They want the bounty points. 4 bounty teams in the lobby.
Here's the thing that I think. You're on the right track. I agree. But I'm not quite sure if the ideology by the teams itself is the correct thing, right? Because imagine 16 teams out there, you're trying to claim the bounty of one team. You are bound to get a third party.
For sure.
That will ruin your bounty chances. Just like how Manya's chances were ruined by Mad Kings hopping in. But where did they lose their 2 members? I think so it was because of the engagement of K9 up north.
Yep, could be possible.
He pointed
Mad
that out.
Kings, the problem has always been the rotation. During the rotation, they tend to lose their players.
Sorry, you said Mad Kings. I also heard my G loss Hermanos.
Ouch. I think you need to get your ears checked as soon as possible. And so do the players of Marcos Gaming, because the barrage of grenades coming in from the side of AKOP can take down not just 1 but 2 players from MG. Even Stone BGMI down to a very low HP. What's taking him so long to patch himself?
He probably does not even have a first
He's
aid.
actually using bandages when the enemy is in the close proximity.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, I know what you wanted to point out. It's a bounty being claimed right now by 8-Bit, hunting down the next 2 members of RNTX and claiming that life. You talked about this team. You told about the aggressive approach and the stance that they've picked up. You mentioned about the point of bounty, Shadow, and they have ticked every single checkbox.
They can get 1 more bounty. Look at that team in the close proximity. We have the players of God's Train, but here's the thing. God's Train, they do have a height advantage. And picking up fight against God's Train from that very compound is not going to be the most viable option for 8-Bit. Unless and until God's Train decides to slam into the compounds of 8-Bit, and then the fight flourish in the favor of 8-Bit. The chances are very less, because God's Train, they're not giving up the height advantage.
That's the thing. We haven't really seen God's Train being one of the teams who would go on to that aggressive end either ways right now. So that's a bit of a problem coming in, though. Genesis facing a lot of troubles out there from multiple frays. It's God's Train firing some shots onto them. Hunter's life has been claimed already. The bounty was not to be claimed by TWB either way, since K9 actually got one of the knock from the members as well. So it's all down to just gravity. We mentioned about them not having a good day, and yeah, seems like the case. Only 1 single point being claimed till now. Nothing else. And Genesis are on the verge of being eliminated on the 14th spot.
From back-to-back 2 chicken dinners to back-to-back 2 early exits. Such a transition in the play of Genesis. And even we have the players of K9 in the close proximity.
GG's.
So Gravity is pretty much stuck in that situation. And finally, Ninja Boy gets the best out of him. But now K9, they might actually go against the players of TWOB as well. But here's the thing, they need to be a bit cautious, because there is a possibility, since they are out in the open and Omega is all the way towards Water City, near the players of Meta NINZA, this is not looking a very promising split from the side of K9.
They've got to make a choice if they want to take a fight against Meta NINZA with Omega in the Water City, or if they want to try and push against the members of TWOB, which would eventually lead to a possibility of a third party coming in from the other side, though. But the standoff between Marcos and OG finally coming to fruition as well. A couple of knocks being found. But they still have not really found anything major, but this spray from AKOP finally landing in perfectly as OG obliterate Marcos Gaming. Few shots being fired from 4TR as well from the other fray, so it's fine, but not really good. Payne is live, brought down on his feet as well. They already had lost one player. OG answering back really well against 4TR.
Even the players of Hero Extreme Godlike having that entire southern control in the close proximity to the players of Phoenix Esports, as Ash has been eliminated by Edwino, even Owen. It's only Harchit remaining from Phoenix Esports, and now Hero Extreme Godlike, they have the entire southern control. But on our screens, we have got the players of OG with 2 finish points. But the split which OG is having right now is quite questionable. Luckily, there is no one in the close proximity.
True.
It's just the players of 4TR who are short in the numbers. But Payne is live is back in the game. It's still a 3-player team. Can be a potential threat for the players of OG.
Look at them.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot the spray which AQOP pulled off in the previous map, and now Biz got showtime as he gets 2 players, but he gets taken down.
Whoa!
This is not looking good. Infi gets a better out of him.
Almost.
Thankfully, someone was there to provide the backline support, and OG eliminates the players of 4TR, and Atanki can get the revival in time as well.
It was Atanki only who was there for the support. Yes, that is true. But the third party could eventually come in through as well from Meta NINZA, which you rightly mentioned. But OG have been the kryptonite of Meta NINZA. Not just from the previous game, but it has been the storyline of entire BGMS. Not just the BGMS, even in the previous tournament which we were part of, that was also a situation where Meta NINZA would always get destroyed by OG. And right now, there's a third team into the fray as well, and that is K9. Meta NINZA, they're losing the members now with the barrage of grenades coming in from Omega. He's already pulled the team as well as OG decided to pull the trigger too. And a picture-perfect timing picked up by AK as he lands into and eliminate Meta NINZA one more time.
8 finishes toward the side of the Apes. Meta NINZA once again a bad outing coming in from their side. Necro was also mentioning this fact that Meta NINZA has always been on the struggling side. But currently, we also have the players of K9. But you know what? Who is on the southern side? Who is trying to maintain that southern control along with Hero Extreme Godlike? It is the players of Team iQOO Soul. They both want the southern control, but the split, the 2v2 split of Hero Extreme Godlike is something which is really concerning at this point, because if the players of iQOO Soul decides to charge in towards Punk and Jonathan, I'm not sure if Gods and Edwino can provide the backline support, but for now, Ninja Boy trying to do some damage towards the side of Atanki, but Atanki is safe for now.
Yeah, it was also Jonathan who was eventually getting caught in that spray as well a little bit. Out, down, back again with Punk. Now the thing is, I don't really feel Godlike will take the fight against OG, because they've got iQOO Soul to worry about, and iQOO Soul has got Mad Kings to worry about as well, side by side.
They have got the circle to worry about, more than that.
That too.
And during their journey inside the circle, they might clash with each other, because all 3 of them, they want the southern control.
And out of all of that commotion, I think so Gods are the team that will eventually have the advantage.
So true.
Because they are already in that part where they are absolutely fine right now, but finally, so they've decided they're going to take care of Mad Kings. Apollo, Clutch God, both of them holding their compound down. But they're not close at all. Mad King, they're going to be facing so much more trouble right now, legit. Some shots are being fired onto him, but a barrage of Util coming in from the other end as well. That's going to be big. Apollo, if he stands strong, he can potentially make it a big game for his team. But the question is, would he be able to do that? There's just so much coming in from his side though, but it's Godlike to fire shots against him. Dodging the grenades, he could not dodge the bullets. And it's all down to just Clutch God. That means Soul will have the advantage at least in that fight. But the big thing is, they still have to move inside of the circle. That's going to be the big problem.
The journey inside the circle is not going to be an easy one, as even the players of K9 get the better out of the players of Team Orangutan, who are doing so great. They had so many finish points, but it is actually a good fight which came in from the side of K9 Esports. Mad Kings, even they have been eliminated on the 7th spot. Not a good game coming in, but Punk in the crosshairs of Goblin. Not looking good, but Goblin is also getting shots from the players of Hero Extreme Godlike. Johnny He needs to patch himself up. But look at the armor of Punk. Completely damaged. Just a single grenade, no smokes, no molotovs.
Yeah.
He shot on those utils and the medkits as well. It's only the bandages towards the side of Punk. The amount of utility which Hero Extreme Godlike has is going to decide their fate. Because if the circle takes a northern shift, this is going to be a very difficult rotation which Hero Extreme Godlike might have to pull off. But for now, difficulty is for the players of 8-bit as they are going up against the players of God's Rain. And God's Rain, they have the height advantage.
Absolutely, you've been mentioning it for quite a while now that they had control of that hill for a very long time. They just held their ground. And now 8-bit are trying to barge onto that door right now. Some of the Molotovs being thrown in, but not really enough. And now push will eventually come to shove. I just absolutely love it from Neo. Smoke being thrown out. He's going to try and slide onto there though, but his power, you give him an inch. This man takes a mile. He still fires the shots, and iQOO is the man who will finally find the final connection to God's Rain losing members now. The last player inside the smoke should be done, should be dusted, and is collected. 8-bit with just 3 members. Destroy God's Rain. Impeccable performance, but this is another fight which is basically a fan service happening. It is Godlike versus Soul.
Fans were waiting for this fight. Hero Extreme Godlike going up against the players of Team iQOO Soul. Even the players of 8-bit can do a third party. The grenade in the hands of Jonathan can actually find the connection as 2 of the players of Team iQOO Soul are down. Joker confirmed by S-Power. The finish points is something which the players of 8-bit can get in their favor. Jonathan is actually going for the reset, which Hero Extreme Godlike needs at this point. But grenades are so crucial at this point. They can get the better out of Hero Extreme Godlike, but the connection is missing. But finally, Legit does the impossible. Hero Extreme Godlike eliminated on the 4th spot, and it was actually a sticky grenade from the side of Goblin. 8 finishes accumulated by the players of Team iQOO Soul, but 14 finishes from the side of 8-bit.
Soul and 8-bit.
And Godlike.
It's the sibling power, I'd have to say, that's eventually reigning supreme out in this lobby. But right now, it's Beast who's finally unleashing his form as well, though. Takes shots against Ninja Boy, and he was left out in the open. So K9 Beast will eventually go and try to give him the revive. Oh, holy smokes. This is so confusing, man. They've also got every single syllable the very same. B capital E A S T small. Holy smokes. It's absolutely fine. NoNx has been brought back up in his feet as well. So 8-bit should be happy about it. The trifecta coming in. But it's Omega's positioning that could be key right now. Because he's the only man who's dead inside the circle. But if he gets knocked there, then his team is going to be in a big wall of trouble right now as they finally decide to push up. The smokes being sent out, vehicles being sent out. 8-bit, K9, the winner of this one, should have a big advantage coming in, but it's NoNx to fall the first. His power still behind the rock as well. Can't really go and move in up front as there's a confirmation coming in. The Molotov going a bit far wide. Legit is as well firing from the other fray, and it's Soul to save the day of 8-bit. Both of these teams having finishes in double digits, and it's down to a 2v2. The sibling rivalry is finally coming to fruition.
Like you said, 2v2 situation, but the position advantage is towards the side of Legit. He has got the height advantage, but the main question is, does he have those grenades and the Molotovs? But unfortunately, he's quite short on those. No grenade, no Molotov, just a stun grenade. Only if he had few utils, this could have been an easy chicken dinner for the players of iQOO Soul. He knows exactly where the player S-Power is, courtesy to that smoke. And maybe he has a vague idea about the position of Beast as well. But the circle is in the favor of 8-bit.
Yeah.
And Soul, iQOO Soul, they have to come out of their comfort zone in a matter of 21 seconds.
The number of vehicles that get blown there means that much of extra cover. Right? That's the big thing.
You know what?
Go for it.
I'll give you a news.
Give the spoiler.
8-bit has got 2 bounty teams.
That's absolute madness coming in from them. And now they can also try and maybe close this one game out with the chicken dinner, with the cherry on top. Right behind the vehicle is where Goblin stands. Legit. It's going to have an angle as well onto him right now. It's about time. The vehicle gets blown and almost one more bullet is all they needed, and it's base to answer back as Legit pushes up as well. It's the blue that is acting in favor of 8-Bit, and they are finally moving up close and personal. Legit has always won these fights, but his power wins the war. 8-Bit, after such a nasty run from week 1, heartbroken, battered, destroyed, rise back up stronger than ever in week 2.
I told you, this is the day of comebacks. 8-Bit, not only they got the winner chicken dinner, also got the bounty points, extra 20 points or bounty or 2 teams. Not just 1, 2 bounty teams have been eliminated by the players of 8-Bit. I'm sure they have broken so many records. Without the impact player, they have gotten over 45 points. That's a quick maths.
Yeah, because 20 points from bounty, 10 points from chicken dinner, and the last we saw them, they already had 15-16 eliminations.
I'm going to read that job to the leaders.
I'm still going to do some of that here around as well. But my, oh my, what a performance. We're going to have a look at the final blow one more time, right? Because this fight with K9 was so important. But it was soul from the heavens, descending like an angel in disguise. But guess what? The angels were eventually destroyed by the dark forces, and let's have an interview with them on the stage.
Man, I don't even remember last time मैं 8-Bit से कब बात करने आया था for a chicken dinner. So I know सोमराज is missing. So अभी IG Link कौन कर रहा है? ये मैच फिलहाल ये किया. अच्छा, तुम लोग क्या ऐसा चिट्स निकाल रहे हो कि कौन करेगा?
मतलब जिसका मन करता है वो करता है भाई.
मन करता है वो IGL है.
S Power इस मैच में IGL. सबसे पहला सवाल, I'm guessing सोमराज must be watching this. अपने होटल रूम में ही होगा hopefully. हाँ, इधर आया ना. अच्छा, वो रहा. So जब वो वापस आएगा, who makes space for him?
उसका तो अभी आइडिया नहीं है. हम लोग का जाके बाद में डिस्कशन होगा. तो हम लोग 4 में से चारों ही तैयार रहते हैं कि खुद को बेंच कर दें. जो भी होगा अभी तो भी ऑनेस्ट पता नहीं यार किसकी जगह पे आएगा. चारों ही अच्छा कर रहे हैं, बट क्या पता मेरी जगह आ जाए.
I'm not sure that will happen. Okay, listen. जब 2v2 होता है, I know a lot of kids are also watching you. वो जानना चाहते हैं in a situation like this, how do they emulate and replicate what their heroes are doing, या जिनको they look up to. 2v2 against Seoul, which is also one of the fan favorite teams. How do you get the win?
इसको मैं कैसे ही बताऊँ कि 2v2 बस बंदा दिख रहा था, मतलब पुश कर रहे थे वो लोग. पता नहीं था सोल है हम लोगों के सामने, तो हमें तो बस नॉर्मल प्लेयर्स थे. तो हम लोग जो था, हम लोगों ने जो देखा उनको मार दिया हम लोगों ने. बस नॉर्मल था जो भी था.
एक सवाल और है, एंड वो ये है कि तुम लोगों ने बाउंटी भी निकाली, एंड दैट इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट क्योंकि तुम लोग फॉर्मेट जो है वो समझ चुके हो. 2 बाउंटी निकाली हैं, तो व्हाट इज द टारगेट राइट नाउ?
ये रहता है जब भी बाउंड्री टीम मिल जाती है हमें, तो हम पीछे पड़ जाते हैं कि चाहिए पॉइंट. एंड उससे बहुत बूस्ट मिलता है कि डायरेक्ट 14 पॉइंट मिलेगा आपको, या फिर पावर प्ले में मारोगे तो डायरेक्ट 18 पॉइंट्स. तो बहुत फायदा है, तो उसका फायदा उठाना चाहिए.
और यार 2025 में ये कास्टर्स ने बोला है तू मिस भी करता है.
नो कमेंट्स.
वेयर इज सोमराज उधर है. सोमराज कैन, oh he's there. Can you hear us? You can. Listen, are you happy कि without you all वो वहां से चिल्ला रहा है. Very happy. All right, listen, we're going to take a break. 8-Bit picking up a chicken dinner after a while. Maybe this is the start that they were looking forward to. We'll see you on the other side.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, zero stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
A day of absolute surprises where Necro before walking off said, man, it's been such a slow day today, specifically when teams are not really taking a lot of those fights out there. Guess what? He missed the map of Erangel because two of the best out here were here to witness the best happening on there. But after all of that action, ladies and gentlemen, it's about time that we take a small break, drink some water up, specifically the Bisleri one, because you need to keep your cool. You need to keep yourself calm. And man, oh man, how calm were the members of 8-Bit.
They most certainly were. I'm not sure about calm because they were getting so many finish points, eliminating two bounty teams, and they were nowhere calm. They were a force in the lobby.
They were a force to be reckoned with at that point. And even Somraj mentioned, right, that, yeah, I'm absolutely very happy with the performance of the team because they just destroyed everyone. But let's have a look at the member who destroyed every other team out there. Let's have a look at the MVP of the previous game as well, because I'm pretty sure it should be someone back from 8-Bit, or it could also be someone from maybe Soul, because they also had pretty good amount of finishes.
It is actually Team iQOO, so legit, the guy with 7 finishes and 64% finish contribution. And day by day, I think Legit has proven himself that he is an asset in the entire team of iQOO Soul. Even on the weekends, if you remember, when he was the impact player, he was getting so many finish points for the team. And now also, 7 finishes just by himself.
He went in for that last fight as well, but it's S-Power who's pretty close by to him, getting the finisher as well, because he was the man who shut him down. 3 rescues for Z-God. Man, that's... Alright, at least somewhere we are seeing the name of 4TR.
Miss Companion is not where they want to be. Maybe in going all out and finisher is where all the Z-God fans want to see him, but a step in the right direction definitely from the entire team of 4TR, because last week they were struggling a lot. Finally, after that chicken dinner, they found their momentum and they are showcasing good fights, which do eventually get converted in their favor.
I 100% agree, but let's have a look at the match ranking of the previous one, ladies and gentlemen. We've all been missing on to that. Just a few seconds. Trophy, it's absolutely beautiful right now, but 2 bounty teams. Holy smokes, being claimed now. This is the only other team apart from Genesis that has pulled a 40 bomb of 47 points. 30 points away, or rather in the lead from the second placing team.
That's what happens when you take down 2 bounty teams. RNTX, not a good day for RNTX. I remember day before yesterday when they got 86 points in a single day. they have been facing a downfall. Just 2 points converted in the last Erangel. Meta NINZA, Phoenix Esports, TWOB. They need to keep up the consistency because they are fizzling out. Even the Blossom Marbles Gaming, what has happened to them?
It's basically like they're not really getting any kind of surprising moments out there for themselves. So, not really seeing them probably up on that list. I really thought that maybe K9 also claimed the bounty of OG, so maybe they're going to propel themselves up. But it's pretty evident now that someone else finished off one member of OG as well. But man, this last fight, absolutely insane. Look at his power. He's only getting a few pixels of vision on Legit, and he just sprays him down entirely. But holy smokes, what a performance coming in from Soul. Very good, to be honest. But we'll have a look at the overall leaderboard now. Genesis, Orangutan, Soul, Revenant, X-Park, all four of them will maintain their position in top 4. But guess who's coming close to them now, only 20 points away. That are the members of 8-Bit, Hero Extreme, Godlike and God's Reign.
Godlike, on the start of the day, correct me if I'm wrong, they were sitting on the second spot.
They had the bounty, you could see their multicam as well, a lot of things which eventually will not be there for tomorrow.
Could be possible that they stage a comeback in the very first game. They are in the top 4, but True Rippers, consistency has been there from the side of True Rippers as well, because they are sitting currently on the 9th spot. Metal Esports, few questionable decision in the map of Miramar, the third party, I don't really get, but mishaps do happen. Metal Esports for now, they are in a safe spot on the 10th one with 198 points. But bonus points is where True Rippers are lacking, actually, to be very honest.
Not even hitting the double digits, that's interesting. I mean, any team to claim the bounty as well themselves will propel themselves up in terms of getting those bonus points for themselves. But K9 being on the 17th spot is one of the biggest surprises for me, Shadow, I'll have to say. Apart from all the other teams, right? We expected Team Ardent to perform as well. They're at the 13th spot. Still expecting them to make a big comeback. But K9, it's not really helping them out. But there's someone who's helping out their entire team. And that's the TVS Raider most wicked players. And it's still going to be Admino up on top. AKOP close to him on 56. But since Admino reached 56 first, that's him and his title to defend.
And that too in less number of matches. Admino has played only 26 matches and more finish contribution than AKOP, 39%. Hunters is also giving a tough competition because even he has played 26 matches with 53 finishes but 40% finish contribution. Praise God, you have been appreciating him since a very long time. Legit has also made it inside the top 5. But Atanki and Spray God on the 9th and 10th spot, with Atanki with 42 finishes. There is not too much difference between these guys.
That's the main thing, right? Not a lot of difference specifically from the 6th to 10th spot himself. Spray God, I would really want to see this man move back up on top as well, because Global Esports have kind of been fizzling out. Today itself, we were saying that it's the first game in Global Esports game, but yeah, it doesn't shine that much. But who shines is going to be Ninja Boy. Is one of the most reliable performers who's gone through all the trials and has upgraded his wicked skill, just like the wicked upgrade from TVS Raider iQOO. It's a bike you really would want to check out, ladies and gentlemen. But coming back to the exact same conversation, yes, some difficulties going in here and there, but there's one very easy thing that you can do, Shadow, which I'm pretty sure Necro is also doing on the other side. We've always been talking about it every single day. We go on our phones, we open the Swiggy app, we open the Swiggy 99 menu, and then we quickly order some burgers for ourselves. So let's have a look at the Swiggy 99 finishes as well, people, because we've had 24 finishes, or rather 24 99 finishes till now.
And almost close to 2500, to be specific, 2390 total number of finishes in 40 total number of matches. But we are few selfish people, as you and Necro, you guys order for your own self. It's just ₹99 and free delivery. I'm the lady on the desk. Treat me sometimes like that.
Yeah, definitely. Give me your phone, I'll unlock it, I'll open Swiggy and I'll scan the QR code and I'll order it for you from your own phone though. But there's one thing that someone else cannot absolutely steal. That's the blue cap coming in from Admino for the Red Bull Max finishes. He's still going to remain on top and he's still got to play 2 more games, right? So it's not tomorrow, but day after tomorrow is when Group C plays those extra games. So tomorrow, yeah, he still can eventually end up defending his title too, because Godlike also had a pretty decent performance today.
Yeah, they were going for the finish points. They were going for the southern control. Eventually, they had to face the players of Team iQOO Soul, where 8-bit also did a third party. Not a situation where they wanted to be in.
Yeah, that is true. But there's another situation where they would want to be in, and that's going to be top 4. But ladies and gentlemen, would that be possible for them? We will get to know the answer of that tomorrow, and you would want to join in tomorrow as well. So till then, have a good night. Bye-bye.